Welcome to South Harmon.
We are late. As you know, when I run things, we're typically late. But it's all right. We're here. We are here. Seth Dywald of South Harmon, our own, as well as Fantasy Pro. Seth, appreciate you hopping on and joining us. We had some technical difficulties. We also have power issue over here, but we're going to power through. As you see, we don't have Mike. And I'll just tell you this up front. You're not going to have the big guy for the next couple weeks. He's got a promotion. He's got a lot of things, moving parts. He's got a lot of things he has to move down to the New Orleans area. So you just get me. You just get a dope guest and Seth. Seth, appreciate you joining us. How you doing, my friend?
Well, good. You can try to take all the blame for the delay. It was completely 100% my fault. So you can try to take that blame. I'm going to take that for you. We figured it out, though. Thank you to this
to
guy.
YouTube, right?
Man, I would plug his YouTube channel, but I just closed it. So maybe if the audience sticks around long enough, they'll be able to know how to fix an white noise issue with a Focusrite input system, if that's even the correct terminology. I don't know. So
that's
maybe I can find it for the people.
For those that out there that have any idea what we're talking about, that's a good way to describe it. I will say, even if you do try to take the full blame, Seth, the audience knows me too well.
Yeah.
And they're just not going to give you full credit. You know, they just won't do it.
Jack Carey, spelled Jaccarey, had a 1.5-minute video that saved my bacon. So there you go. For anybody who's interested.
Love that. Well, Seth, I'm excited to have you on. I will admit, with technical difficulties, we didn't have a chance to chop it up beforehand. But the thumb says Dynasty Panic. I'm curious for you. We're going to kind of rip the Band-Aid and go straight into it, Seth. What, for you right now in your leagues, like, give me a temperature check on what's going on in your leagues. Are you making trades? Are you seeing trades happening? And if so, what is that looking like? And then also for you, what are some things you're trying to do right now as we kind of get into, I'm going to get into the Dynasty landscape at the moment. It's kind of chaotic, and panic is maybe not in all my leagues, but it's happening in some too.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting offered still a lot of bad trades, and honestly, I'm not engaging as much this year as I have in previous years. And it's not like I don't want to. I always want to be making trades and be active and stuff, but it's just really, I don't know why, for me personally, it's been really tough to make moves. But I think the area that I want to start mining for some gold is these 2026 rookie picks. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I think people still think that this class is dog shit. And I think that there are some, because we were talking on our show last night with John Lobb, some guys in the middle of the second round that I think, we might not get as many hits as we normally do in that range, but I think that there's going to be some. We were talking about Katron Allen and the year that he had last year at Penn State, and he's the Penn State all-time leading rusher too, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, Katron Allen, okay.
Just a dog of a player. And, we were talking about Emmett Johnson, who I'm not as high on as Matt Babbage and John Lobb, but that's a guy with pass-catching skills. So, like, these rookies in this range, and I could go on and on, Jadarian Price, I think there's going to be some value, and I think that you can get picks in those ranges right now for next to nothing because everybody thinks this class sucks.
Yeah, so what pick specifically are we talking, you thinking?
Probably middle of the second round, maybe early second, like somewhere in that range is probably where Katron Allen's going to go. He's 18th overall according to Fantasy Pro's rookie rankings right now.
Right.
Like their amalgamation of expert rankings, which I suppose could mean somebody has him in the first round. You just never know.
Yeah, for sure. So, but not just Katron Allen, some of the other guys you mentioned. You're talking more like mid seconds, early seconds type range. Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah, and I think those picks are very, very acquirable. And like, I don't know if you're going to have to, off the top of my head, I don't know what Keep Trade Cut says, but I think that that's just a range that everybody seems to want out of. And in Dynasty in general, like, my instinct is always to kind of rush into the battle when I see an area of weakness. I at least want to see if I can exploit it. So that's kind of my sense for what the weak chink in the armor is for some people's evaluations, because I think that there's going to be some prospects in that range that hit. And
Yeah.
we were talking about specifically Katron Allen last night. We had like a 20-minute conversation about him, which
I love this.
A plug, a shameless plug. Go check it out on the Dynasty Roundtable, the episode that just dropped. And he basically talked me into Katron Allen. So that anyway, just not to just continue to keep saying Katron Allen's name over and over and over again, but
It's all right.
There's other guys too.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it. By the way, make sure you do go check out Seth's the Fantasy Roundtable. There is no head of the table, but the head of the Fantasy Roundtable, if you will, is Seth, and he's heading that up. Definitely check it out. It's fun. It's interesting that you brought that up. I mean, it maybe wasn't all that discreet. Maybe it was pretty obvious, but with the thumbnail 110 and Chuba, so today in particular, I've been trying to get some activity going in some of my leagues. I've found this year for myself personally, the freeze out has been kind of crazy. I have not gotten many trades, if any, hardly done in the last couple months. But I will say, I've seen activity in my leagues, and I'm trying to get some stuff going as the draft's coming around. And it's one of those things that the draft this year in the cycle of talk has been, it has been honestly, since 2022, I don't remember a class being this hated, and it's universal though, right? Like even in 22, there was some value discrepancy. Some people were a little more in. I think the majority was out of the class as a bulk. This year has been the most hated, and it's weird because the groupthink is so strong that everybody basically is like, listen, picks are worthless, especially outside of the first few elite considered picks. The 101 is a different conversation than the rest of the picks, obviously. But like to me, when I was just starting to think about the later part of the first round, shout out to DLF, and Addison Hayes had me on to do a mock draft with other creators there at the 109. That was the pick I had, and I got Omar Cooper Jr. in that one. But it got me kind of thinking for today's episode. And I wanted to just start with the 110, right in that range, right? It's definitely a late first. It has a double-digit number, and it's in this 26 class where people just hate the class, right? Nobody wants to make picks here. And it's weird because I've actually seen the activity in some of my leagues get higher. So I wanted to shout out to the Lab, a tool we have, the Lab. So it's the the-lab.com. I'm sorry, .southharmonff.com. Go over there, check it out. You can see all kinds of sleeper API and real trades that have taken place. The amount of trades that have gone on in the last week is getting crazier and higher. And it's funny because it's almost like, well, shoot, the draft's coming up, man. And if you don't trade these before that happens, like it's gonna get worse. That's what it feels like in the streets. And some of the trades that have gone down, the 110, and we'll go through a few other ones if you want to here, but the 110 in particular, wild to me. The 110 was traded for, let me give you some that took place today, all right? The 110 for David Montgomery and Chig Okonkwo. These are in full PPR leagues with a tight end premium of a half a point up to a point. So anywhere from 0.5 all the way up to 1. The 110 and a fourth for Chig and for David Montgomery. Like I get it, desirable landing spot. We saw what Mixon did when healthy, but is that not crazy for a first round pick?
No, that's pretty crazy. That's and I like David Montgomery just as much as the next guy. I don't really understand. I know he's going to be the starter most likely. Woody Marks is still there, and I know
sure.
Some people have their reservations about Woody Marks, and deservedly so, I think.
Yeah.
But last time I checked, that offensive line's still not very good. David Montgomery's an older running back, and again, I loved him at Iowa State.
Yeah.
But
I've liked him in points in Dynasty too. But we're talking an older running back for sure, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think deals like that are out there if you're willing to kind of grind and work and to find those people who are just out on this class. And it sounds like the guy who had the 110 probably has a good team. He's looking for a vet to kind of sustain his win now window. And he thought, you know what, David Montgomery plus Chig Okonkwo seems good enough to me to move off that 110. And to me, that's just a perfect move if you're a rebuilding team to get that 110, because according to Keep Trade Cut, and I'm not saying that this is my 110, but
right. Nice little plug, by the way. Keep Trade Cut, graphic. We have the new ticker going up there, and it'll be ready to go for next week for the draft. But yeah, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Jadarian Price, and this speaks to just how low I think the market is on these players. He's 140 overall. Like in recent memory,
that's
maybe
going to change for sure. Like draft capital attachment is such a big thing for the player names, but yeah, that's incredibly low. 140.
140 for Jadarian Price, and he's their 10th overall. I would have to imagine that is a bit exaggerated, right? I would think so.
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, the reality is that people are all for there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of inputs into this, website Keep Trade Cut. So people are universally saying that puts him, for the record, at running back 34. So, I mean, I do think he'll go up. Maybe not a ton, but I do think he will go up from that point, especially because I'm pretty confident. I'm curious what you think. I would be willing to bet heavily that he's going to be a day 2 pick. I don't think he's going to fall into day 3. So if you give him day 2 capital, I think as well. But anyway, I mean, he's in the range right there for, just to give you a comparison. Jalen Warren's ahead of him, and he's in the range of Michael Penix Jr., who's really hated at this point. Jalen McMillan, Ty Simpson, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Coker. I mean, he's pretty forgotten down here.
Yeah. And he's our RB2. He's my 12th overall player in this class. I like Jadarian Price quite a bit. Again, he's one of those guys in that range that I'm talking about that, we may not have as many hits as we've had in the past, but I think that there's some good players in this range, and I think this deal represents what's out there right now, and even even cheaper if you're going for the 201, 202, 203, because
I was going to go
really go ahead.
Go ahead. You finish your thought. I was just going to say I want to do a few more picks and a few more trades from the 110 just to give an idea, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, in that range of players, and I would urge people to do this anyway, because we had Fizz on the Dynasty Roundtable not too long ago.
Shout out Fizz.
And
it's in the building.
Oh, dude, Fizz is the man. You got to go follow the South Harmon Vibes channel, and he started his own YouTube channel not too long ago, or he plans to. Okay, so he did. Okay,
it is up.
So good. Go check that out.
I will put you should already know the vibes, but I will put the vibes as well as the Fantasy Roundtable and as well as Fizz's new personal brand channel. I'll put all those into the description. Make sure you go check those out if you're here.
Yeah, the South Harmon family of fantasy football YouTube channels. You gotta be tapped in.
Sure thing.
Outside of the 110, 111, 112, and kind of beyond that, in that range of picks, and maybe even the entire second round, is go get your guy season. I think if there's a player that you have conviction on, whether it be Jadarian Price, whether it be maybe Eli Stowers is in that range, or Nicholas Singleton, or we love Skylar Bell and Ted Hurst, right? I don't think that there's a huge drop off between who might be the consensus 201, 202, and a guy 10 spots down. And it would not surprise me at all, and we were talking about this last night, if the guy that is whatever the RB7 or RB8 is, whether that's, Jonah Coleman or, I don't know, Seth McGowan or whatever running back you want to throw out there, it would not be a shock at all to see a name just sneak into day 2 and become the RB3 or the RB4 that was once the RB11 or the RB12. In this class,
definitely.
It's like, so that's why I think getting picks in this range, especially when everybody's not valuing them at all, is you just never know what's going to happen, right? Because something could happen. This NFL draft could go by, and we could get a lot more players boosted into day 2 than we thought, and that's going to increase the value of rookie picks. And then you're buying so low right now, it just doesn't make any sense to me that you wouldn't at least explore the opportunity. And then the go get your guy thing is Fizz all the way, because it's your dynasty team. And like I said, at the 201, the 202, the 203, there's not much difference between that and like the maybe the 209, 210, 211, which is also why people don't want to pick in that range, right? So anyway, that's kind of the process.
No, I mean, well, we're on the same page at least here. I'll say this: I think, the group think is strong enough, and there's people that I'm close with that really don't want to make a lot of these picks and don't want to have them and want to get value out of them. And I think that's kind of the issue. Even if you don't like this class, which I'll admit to everybody, right? I'm not trying to say that the 26th class on paper and some of the players from a talent perspective are anywhere near some of the classes like 24, 23 for sure. Probably even 22 and last year 25 while down. I think maybe it's closer to that than people want to give it credit for. Like I probably want talent 1-for-1 25 class. So I'm not trying to say that, but there's a point where if this is what the groupthink is going to become so strong, you're better off zigging when people zag or vice versa. And I do want to say real quick, Cameron Myers, let me give him a quick shout out again for the super chat. He says, we got Fantasy Pros coming in hot. I'm sitting at 5, so going to get one of the big 3 receivers, but I feel so out of touch in rounds 2 and 3 right now. Okay, we can probably help you out with that, Cameron, but I'll say also, if you do want super chats, or if you send super chats, we want super chats. If you send super chats, you'll get to the front of the line. Anytime you send a super chat, boom, front of the line, you immediately get to change whatever we're talking about, change the narrative. Also, please continue putting questions in. Once we kind of get through some of the first part of the show here, I will make sure to get all the starred questions answered. Seth and I will go through them with a fine-tooth comb. So I got Ted Hurst up here. He's somebody I'm really excited to get in round 2. And I do think there's actually enough players for me that I'm kind of excited about. Go get my guys, as you're talking about here, in round 2 and round 3, where like if I can get them tossed into deals, I'm absolutely looking for more shots in those ranges. But just to give you still on this 110 thing, right? I want to give you a little more, depth on what these trades look like. You may not. Chuba Hubbard, obviously the thumbnail is there, right? And as I talked about with the trade with Montgomery and Chig for 110 and a fourth. Let me just run through a few of these here. The 110 for Christian Watson, straight up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop. We got, let's see. So you can get somebody got the 110 and the 108. Sent both of them for Kyron Williams. And that's
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're talking probably like Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston, and then plus whoever you want to take at the 110.
Yeah,
something like that. Like that's a lot of upside that you're getting in return for Kyron Williams. Even in a down class, I think Denzel, like those guys, the wide receivers that you're going to get in that range are like fine NFL player. I think the safest pick is probably Denzel Boston, but
I like
Omar
Denzel
Cooper
quite a bit. Yeah, I have Cooper slightly ahead, but I do have them in the same tier. So it's pick your poison. If you liked Denzel Boston better, I wouldn't fight you. And it's close for me. I mean, there might be some times where I go Denzel Boston over Cooper just to, make that distinction. I don't want to have too much exposure either way. And obviously draft capital will probably change. There's a chance draft capital changes at what we think about this soon. But anyway, just to give you some more. I mean, the 110, think about this. The 110 and the 204 for Matt Stafford. I get it. One quarterback, 1 year, you want to make the push for Matt Stafford, or I get that one a little bit as far as like if you really needed a QB, but this is a QB market where nobody cares. We're basically sending almost 2 firsts in value for Matt Stafford. That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. The 110 and 202 for Malik Willis. You've got what was the other one here?
Oh my God.
People. I'm telling you, man. That's nuts.
Match.
Like now, mind you, so far these are all trades within yesterday or today on Keep Trade Cut. So I'm not just cherry picking the ones that are really, really juicy and spicy. How about the 110 and the 208 for Jacoby Brissett and Alec Pierce? Tyler Shuck for the 110 and the 210. Like it's mayhem. It's not, people are acting as if like if you have the draft pick before the draft happens, you're going to be cooked just because you have the pick. It's the 110 straight up for Jonathan Brooks. I'm going to leave that one as the last one here. We'll leave the 110 out of this now for a little bit. All right. We'll make.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we've made a living betting on a running back, and I hope Jonathan Brooks is good. I like Jonathan Brooks a lot coming out, but the poor man has torn his ACL so many times. I just don't know if that's just a bad bet to make.
There's not a bet. There's not a worse process bet. I like Jonathan Brooks coming out of Texas. I feel horrible, right? Him coming back and taking so long to get back at a young age and then tearing it right again, but it's just not a bet.
You know what it reminds me of?
What do you got?
It reminds me of, you remember Marshawn Lattimore? It kind of reminds me of that. Unfortunately, I
liked Lattimore quite a bit too, but yeah, the injuries were really bad for Lattimore too. That's a good call, good pull. Chat, tell me real quick what other picks you want. I'll pull whatever pick you guys want here. I'll go just for the sake right now. we'll go into the early second. But if you have a specific pick, put it in the chat which one you want me to pull, and we'll run the numbers here. So let's just go 202 to keep it, simple. Same type of league formats that we're running. We're looking for trades recently. All right, so 202. Let's see what we got. The 202. It's 202 for Shedeur Sanders straight up. What do you think of that one?
Oh my goodness gracious! Give me the 202. But you're talking to a guy who was never super high on Shedeur.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a Cleveland Browns fan. How do you feel about that?
I want the 202. I will say this, there's definitely a world where the Shedeur, if it works out, it's better for sure. Like if you could tell me right now Shedeur was going to be the long term, or not even that, give me a whole year and some, he's going to get the full year as the starter and he's going to be the starter going into next year. Shedeur Sanders. I personally just don't know. It's because of the Browns organization. I'm too close to it, frankly.
Yeah.
Right? I don't trust a fucking thing the Browns do. So that partly that's on me. It's not even that. It's not even as much about Shedeur. It's about the draft capital, all this change. I think they're going to be terrible. But that one's a little polarizing. Here's an interesting one. How about Kyle Monangai for the 202 and the 402 tossed in?
See, that's closer, but if I can re-roll a 4th round rookie pick into a 2nd round pick, even in this class, I think I'm doing it pretty much every time. So I'll take the 202 and I get the 402. I think I'll do that.
Yeah, I would definitely take the 202 and 402 there. Monangai looked really good, honestly. One given work, I think you clearly saw with Ben Johnson. He's gonna have a chance to keep that role, but again, this is a day 3 pick, pretty late pick. Not a super. Nothing about his profile is game changing or difference making. He did move Roschon Johnson completely to irrelevant, but to me, there's not a lot of meat left on the bone, probably outside of a lot of things having to go right for him to go well past what the 202's value is. So for me, I'll take the 202 and the 402. Jaden Reed straight up for the 202. Parker Washington for the 202 and the 210. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Those are a couple wide receivers that, I mean, Jaden Reed is basically a 50-60% snap share guy, maybe a 70% snap share guy on a good day. I will take the rookie pick more times than not. Going back to Kyle Monangai for a second, this is just a little bit of a tidbit I can give the audience as a Bears fan. Yeah, so as a Bears fan, the rumor on draft day was that the Bears had Trevion Henderson in their sights in round 2 and got sniped by the Patriots. And they just kept getting sniped at running back, which is why they ended up with Kyle Monangai in the 7th round. So it would not shock me if the Bears identify running. And I know that this is not a good draft class for a running back, so maybe the chances of this aren't as good as I think personally. But it would not shock me if the Bears take another running back in day 3 or maybe late day 2. Would not shock me. They have 2 second-round picks. I'm not saying they're going to spend one of those on a run. Not saying they're going to spend one of those on a running back, and I might lose my mind as a Bears fan if they do spend one of those on a running back. But it's Ben Johnson. We didn't think he was going to draft a wide receiver in round 2. We didn't think he was going to draft a tight end in round 1. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
round seven running backs, as much as I do like Kyle Monangai, he's a round 7 running back. I mean, think of all the hope we had for Isaiah Pacheco back in the day. We had a lot of hope and a lot of dreams.
Don't stab me. I got well too excited about the Pacheco thing after seeing.
Me too.
After seeing how that type of situation goes, undrafted 7th round, not great for process. Honestly, the opposite. Terrible for process. Not that they've never hit, but it's just not a long-term hit. Tend to be. Anyway, I just wanted to give a few of those and some ideas here, just because. Listen, I'm not saying these all exist in your leagues, but it's the exercise I wanted to do this because it's not like. Listen, it's not like I'm cherry picking. These are literally today's trades and yesterday's yesterday's and today's trades. These just happened. This is real market stuff. So maybe these specifically, these players don't happen, but I think you have an idea. I'm trying to give an idea of the market for how bad it is. Somebody said 112 here, Patty Mills. So also for the record, J.P. Tay says, last 2 years I got Ladd and Burden at the 112. Again, this class I don't think is the class of last year or the year prior. I mean, 2024, you had to work hard to really screw it up, right? You got to go Keon Coleman. You had to press the button on a Jonathan Brooks. You had to get really screwed to miss out in the late first. There was so many good players, but this year I don't think it's going to be that flush. But I do think overall point as we continue this is that I think as well. You said some players are going to hit. Now you may have a hard time pinpointing them if you're like me. I'm almost like a curse, which we'll get into something here shortly on curses. But I may not be able to tell you right now the person that's going to do that, but I can almost promise you there's going to be a handful in the late first, early second that end up popping. Luther Burden's a perfect example because he didn't do much for the majority of the year and then came on so strong. The value of these players, Jaden Reed in his rookie season is a very similar point to as like a Luther Burden where the value starts to creep up crazy late. Look at I mean, I can go on from last year's class. Tootin. I mean, Tootin literally has done nothing still. The opportunities in front of him and everyone's ready to go crazy. So the people will forget that it's a 26 pick when that player starts to do something and is someone they want to build their team around. So here we go with the 112 real quick. We'll run through a couple of these and then we'll get to some other stuff here. Maybe we'll get to the late second to give some deeper names. But right now, 112, let me just give you – I'm trying to give the ones that are not too many assets in the deal, right? So there's – 112 and 304 for Kyler Murray. Where are you at with that one?
Wow.
That's the first one here. And by the way, Tyler Algier, an old Arizona.
I think, honestly, I don't know how you feel about Kyler Murray. I'm kind of in. I think I'm kind of back in on Kyler Murray. So that guy had the 112, so it means theoretically he won the championship, and he's looking for a quarterback. I'm assuming that's a super flex league.
Yes, 12 team. It's actually 2 QB, but 2 QB super flex. Okay. And 2 QB probably drives it up slightly more, right? Quarterback pricing.
Yeah, I think I'd be for that price. I think I would be willing to take a chance on Kyler Murray there. But I'm
with you. Kyler would be a bet that I would say there. If that was in the range of outcomes, I would potentially need a quarterback. He's someone I have really high in my rankings relative to consensus. So I'm not going to say these are all one size fits all. They're all going to be pick for sure, but I think the majority of them are. How about Tyler Algier for the 112? And then there's another trade literally made side by side. Tyler Algier 112, and then Tyler Algier for the 112 and a 28-second thrown in there as well.
Wow, you're getting – yeah, I don't know about you. I don't know what to make of this Arizona Cardinals team and their backfield right now with James Conner still there, still hanging around. Trey Benson, who we all had really high hopes for. Presumably, Tyler Algier is the starter, but we don't know. I'm assuming that offense is also going to suck.
I mean, presumably we were told – people presumed to me it was Trey Benson for like 2 seasons in a row. I mean,
dude, I might have been one of those people telling you it was Trey Benson.
I was definitely thinking
Conner like 2 years ago.
I was telling you last year that I think Connor's still the starter, but like it's been a while since he stayed healthy like this for a while. He got hurt, and then Trey Benson didn't even get the reins there. But I guess my point is, I like Algier, honestly. I liked him coming out. He's a nice player. He's kind of been someone that's hard to like because everyone wants Bijan to get off the last few years, and he's been kind of a pain in the ass for him. But listen, for a late first in this class, man, that's a pivot that I would happily make. Chris Godwin and Ollie Gordon. I'll admit I'm a Chris Godwin defender, and I think he's not a person I want to trade right now because I think the value is typically not a 112, frankly. So, but if I was in a position where like, hey, I need to get off of Godwin or I want to get off of Godwin, like that is absolutely found money to me. His market is so much lower than that at the time being.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that one. I think, if you're trying to, I mean, and that's one of those situations where context matters. Where if you're trying to win now,
sure,
Godwin's probably a good piece for you. But if you're starting the rebuild early, I can't blame you for trying to flip him for a pick like the 112 because you're probably not getting much more than that.
Well, if you're a rebuilder, right, think about risk reward, right? Reward and risk. Like if you keep Godwin and don't take the 112, the risk you're taking on is significant. Now, I'm not saying it can't pay off, but by how much, right? On the flip side, if you send the 112 for Godwin right now, my gosh, man, that's actually a pretty steep bet, frankly. Like risk and reward is a lot heavier on the risk side for you, in my opinion, and I like Godwin. Matthew Golden, by the way, was someone I forgot to mention on the 110 as well as the 112 here. That one doesn't make sense to me at all as far as face planners. I've not ever been a face planner bet guy. But anyway, that's the 112. I will get into some late seconds here, and then we can keep it chugging and get to questions. We also have a super chat. Let me make sure to give this guy, JP Tay. There will be more guys who emerge just like every other year, no matter how shit the draft class is. Trust your prospect process and pick your guys. I'll be honest. I'm probably sticking and picking regardless because I'm not getting a lot of trade activity. But for these prices, there's almost none. There's extremely few trades that I've mentioned here that have gone down that are even like that I'm even thinking about really taking the player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 22 draft class was horrible, right? Is that the one that was bad?
So 22 draft class, and this is funny because the 22 draft class was bad on paper, right? You had Mike and I were known for, unfortunately, defending the quarterback class, which was a terrible, horrible thing to do to start.
Malik Willis is back from the grave.
But you know what? They were all buried. Yeah. They all got buried initially. Kenny Pickett, the only first round QB, and he was terrible, right? So the quarterbacks in Superflex basically made 22 disastrous, and it wasn't highly thought of. But it's actually funny when you go through, and Mike did this a few weeks ago. When you go through what actually took place in 22. The class wasn't bad, but it talent-wise was thought of as pretty bad, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, Christian Watt, like, I'm just going through the second round. I mean, obviously you had Kenneth Walker in there, right?
Yeah, the first round had Drake London, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, like plenty of hits in the first round, honestly.
Yeah, well, Kenneth Walker was actually an early second rounder.
George I was talking like Dynasty rookie draft pick.
Oh yeah. Okay,
he was a second round draft pick, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. But George Pickens, and that was the year Sky Moore, and this was the conversation we had with Fizz because I had George Pickens the whole way ranked ahead of Sky Moore, and then I just let the Sky Moore fandom.
You weren't the only one that bought into the KC
take me
Sky
over.
Moore. Yeah, for sure. It happened to a lot of us. Alec Pierce, by the way, a second round pick in the NFL.
Yeah,
but
Trey McBride.
Tyler Algier was a 19th overall in this. In
James
mocks.
Cook.
Yeah, there was plenty of hits in 22, and I think that's a good example.
Yeah. I could keep going if you want me to, but I think I've made my point. So this, and I remember everybody, and I was talking to Theo Greminger. I'm just name dropping everybody tonight. I was talking to Theo Greminger about this, and he had James Cook really high, and everybody thought he was crazy for taking James Cook. I think it was over Sky Moore, or maybe it was somebody else in the class.
No, that was about the range. I mean, he was a late first, and I think Sky typically went more mid because the KC hype went up, but that definitely is a conversation.
Yeah. So I think that's 2 points in one. I don't think that any class is as bad as people say it is, and well, maybe the 27 class is as good as people think it is. But you see what I'm saying, though. It's
of course,
very rarely, and this is true in life too. And I'll give life lessons with Uncle Seth here. Very rarely is anything
this late night
bad.
thing. You guys waited for exactly what you needed. Keep going, buddy. Talk to him.
Yeah. So very rarely is anything as bad as it seems, and very rarely is anything as good as it seems. It's usually somewhere in the middle, and that's, I think, true with draft classes too. So I try to keep that in mind, and I would advise that you keep that in mind too as you're going about your dynasty business out there. So just a little tidbit for the kids,
Yeah, the ups and downs, people get too high and too low on a lot of things. It's a good overall life lesson too. I think though, how would I put this? I think the overall point. I'll just do real quickly here. Let me just say, let's address the super chat first. Corey, appreciate Corey Mercer. In a rebuild, would you be looking to sell Kyler or hold? If sell, for what return? So let me ask you, Seth, what would you be wanting? You're in a rebuild, right? A known rebuild. You're not trying to contend this year. You're not even really trying to hang around. What would you be looking for in a let's call it at the moment? I'm pretty sure this is probably similar to Corey's format, but a 12-team lineup league, start 9 or start 10. More of the standard format. What would you be looking for?
Yeah, so in a rebuild, always I'm trying to flip assets into picks if I can. Picks are the commodity that I believe gets you out of a rebuild the quickest. And so Kyler Murray, he goes to Minnesota, and I think your target in a trade, the league owner that you're looking for is the guy who's desperate for a quarterback and thinks that he can get Kyler Murray on the cheap.
Sure.
Right. So
Sure.
I think in this class, for me personally, and I don't know if you can get this done, but somewhere in the middle of the first round, I'm not saying that you are going to get inside the top 5 of this class, because that's probably not going to happen.
Definitely
But I
not,
could see
don't think.
somebody who has the 106, 107, 108 in that range, flipping that for Kyler Murray, because like I said, nobody wants to be picking in that range. Now, if you obviously, and I don't think I need to be telling this to anybody in your audience, because these are some of the smartest players around, but any 27 first pick I would do in a heartbeat, just in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And possibly if I can get some later 27 picks thrown in with the later 26 first, like maybe if it's the 110, 111, 112 plus a 27 second, and maybe, you know, some package like that, maybe get a player that you think has some upside thrown in. That's a sleeper of all sleepers. That's kind of where my head's at. But what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, it's interesting. I pulled up some trades. Before I give you the real trades, let me just tell you my process and what I would be thinking about it. I would need a first round pick. Like, okay, obviously if I'm in this position, I know that Kyler, one of the things about him, he is a Konami guy. He's probably more on the borderline versus an elite Konami rusher, right? We've seen him in his second year, I think it was, where he really went crazy. He was quarterback 3 that season. He ran for like 800 yards on the ground, had touchdowns. He was in the quarterback 1 overall discussion at that point. He's come down to earth a lot since then, and I think with his frame and his size, you know, especially without Kingsbury, now you probably aren't going to see him rush to that high-end level. But we've seen him definitely meet and beat the threshold of like 500 rushing yards for a season. Plus, he has some touchdown upside. He's really quick and bursty there. So I like him, and I'm aggressive with him in my rankings because of that. I think Minnesota's about as good of an opportunity he's going to get, talent-wise and coach-wise, to really revitalize himself. So all those things are making me say I need to have at least a first in this class, or a future first, probably minimum to get the conversation started. Now, that's probably a little above, you know, market for some people, but that's where I would be, just because I think there's a chance where even if he doesn't end up turning his entire career around with Minnesota this year and in the future, he has a big window of, you know, basically dynasty upside and value bump, because he has a good game or two, or Jefferson has 2 touchdowns and he runs 1 in. Something like that is going to push his value up a lot during the year. So I wouldn't sell for seconds, honestly, in this class, or any class. But you brought up the 108, so I'll just give you some real trade target markets right now. So the 108 was a good one, and I think mid first, like 106, 107, you could try. I just doubt it happens. There's something about like that 108 and beyond, especially in this class, that feels like they're discounted. So the 108 straight up for Kyler, the 108 and the 204 for Kyler. We've got, let's see, Kyler Murray for the 112 and the 304. I think we mentioned that prior. A 27 first for Kyler. I kind of doubt that's happening right now. I would say
that would be a smash. That would just be an automatic. Like if that shows up in your inbox and you get a 27 first for Kyler, don't even think about it. Just take the 27 first.
For sure. I would say right now, if you get a 27 first, done pretty much easy, because of what the value of the picks is going to continue to boost. I would say this, though. If you're in the position where you're I look at it like this. If you're in a rebuild, right, and I'd take on a 26 pick, your window is pretty short here for that actually to be draft pick liquidity. And that's what I'm looking for a lot of times in rebuild, is the liquidity. Because if you're going to have to just stick and make a pick here soon, it's going to become a player. Now, it's a younger player that has, you know, volatility and upside. But if you wanted to wait to the season and then try to get the right person to give you a 27 first, that might be one of the reasons why you'd hold. I just think right now, I think most people are not aggressive enough to Kyler to make it worth your while. But if you're getting something like this, 111 here straight up, 111, 108, 112, especially if you're throwing in like a third or a second in some of these, I'd probably say, listen, you got to let him go and just trust the process and try to keep re-rolling the value and get younger. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think if it's a second round pick, even 201, 202, I'm just probably not making that trade. The one thing that would change that is if you're in a league where picks are basically spoken for, like everybody's hoarding picks. And so the opportunity for you to get a first next year or the year prior or the year after, I'm sorry, 28, isn't realistic, then maybe you have to take seconds or whatever. But I'm probably pretty aggressively saying I need at least a first, even if it's a late one.
Yeah, I'm right on board with that for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's let's just go ahead real quick. The last thing we'll do. What do you think here? 207? Do 207?
207, yeah, sure.
Let's see what 207, like a mid-second, right? Let's just get a pulse for this. So 207 right now, it's interesting. The first person up is Godwin. I would definitely, I don't want to say definitely, but I might prefer Godwin there on a contender. I think it's probably closer to what his real market is. K-Dot or second. There's not a single tight end premium out there. There's nothing you could do to tell me that K-Dot's worth 207. Absolutely not. No way. No shot.
No. And
no shot in hell.
Yeah.
Woody Marks
like, just
for
to give
207.
people an idea, in this range, you're probably looking at Mike Washington Jr., Katron Allen, Chris Brazzle, somewhere in maybe Zachariah Branch, and I know Zachariah
Ted
Branch
Hurst
is a polarizing prospect in this. Ted Hurst could fall to this range, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I doubt you'll get Eli Stowers based on people. There's two tight ends, so I doubt you get him there. But listen, so the point is that when you continue to list out the names, one of them has to fall there. So that one's crazy.
I love Skylar Bell. I'd be more than comfortable taking him at the 207. That's just me personally.
But I mean, that's to the point too of you making of like if you go get the 207 and you have a guy. I mean, you'll easily be able to get your guys that are maybe a little bit reaches based on consensus, but that's, I think, perfectly fine if you're going to stick and make the pick. 207 again. I'll give you just a couple more here. Wow. Is that right? Keaton Mitchell. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking. That's just.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
That's crazy, but the point is, I guess, I'm just trying to read the names that are out here. J.J. McCarthy, I think that's a different conversation. I'm pretty panicked on McCarthy, but I might prefer to just hold.
Actually,
but
I actually made a trade with T-Rock, and
T-Rock,
months and months ago. Months and months. Shout out to T-Rock, by the way. T-Rock's the man.
Matter of fact, speak of the devil, he literally just commented. What's up, man?
Really? Oh, wow. Awesome.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I traded for JJ McCarthy from him, and I'm kind of regretting that decision right now. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I guess the point is, listen, if you're worried about the class, warranted. I think a lot of things do fit the narrative and the bill for the overall 26 hate, and it's led to, in my opinion, a pretty dead cycle of even content, and there's not a lot of news. There's not much these players and prospects can do to change the like nothing can happen other than this just doom and gloom for the majority of the people out there. So there's either a lack of content or it's pretty pessimistic. I get all that.
It's not sexy.
I get all that, but that's kind of to the point where it's like, all right, for the range of players based on the picks, think about it again. They're going to become a player, right? They're going to be a young rookie. You could absolutely miss, right? You could go Caleb Johnson on this. You could totally take a dive, but there's just as much upside that the player ends up doing something in their rookie year. And believe it or not, these people in Dynasty that you play with, in a lot of your leagues, are not going to be sitting there, oh, that guy was in 26. No, I can't trade for this. I cannot trade for Ted Hurst after he had a pretty good finish in his rookie season. He was the 26th class. It's not how it works. People will forget about that, just like startup picks. You don't remember maybe a handful of players, but you don't remember where all the players went in your startup in your Dynasty league 2 years, 3 years later. It's just not how life works. So to me, there's a lot more meat on the bone for the players, even if you don't believe in the class as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. I think, I nobody is saying, oh, I can't trade for George Pickens because he was in the 2022 class, or Isaiah Likely or whoever you want to throw out, which, by the way, Isaiah Likely, 4th round pick in that class, or 2022 class.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams, 5th. We could keep going on. Anyway.
Listen, the 22 class far outlived from a value perspective, even if you were holding the players, right? Not to mention they all had peaks in value and you could trade. They're assets that are liquid. But if you just had to hold, right, all of them, a lot of them cashed. I'm not saying they all did, but Sky Moores exist. There's plenty of Kenny Pickett's. There's plenty of bad ones, but any quarterback he took outside of Malik Willis at this point has probably burned the crap out of you. But there's plenty of hits that way outweighed, and I think as a class as a whole, 22 players where you picked them were more beneficial to Dynasty gamers than the opposite way around.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Mr. Irrelevant himself, Brock Purdy. That was
Yeah, Brock Purdy wasn't even, what's crazy is he was like not even drafted in 4 or 5 rounds.
I know.
Dynasty.
That's what, like, honestly, that's also another way to boost your rebuild too, is just to be paying attention to what's going on and the probability that somebody like Brock Purdy could have a chance to win a job, and just stash these guys and see what happens, and don't panic sell, and all these fundamentals that your audience is well aware of. But anyway.
Absolutely. T-Rock says he's we're in the house. McCarthy for Hunter. I think we both got cooked on that trade. So, well, I will say though
that was the trade.
That's okay. That's about as. I was curious what the offer was or what you received. I mean, Hunter and McCarthy are two of the most polarizing, both negative at the moment, typically. But
yeah,
I'm not going to get. I don't want to get too much into Hunter
for this trade.
You think so? I don't want to get too much into it because
this is maybe the most polarizing. Honestly, I don't know if we accomplished anything with this trade.
I was going to say they're at the moment very similar assets. Everyone wants out, but there's still plenty of there's still upside to be had. There's still there's the case in point for each one of them to not be completely cooked. I don't want to get too far into the Hunter thing. The reports, depending on who you're talking to, they do differ. I know if Mike was on here, Mike is unfortunately out for a couple weeks, and he's staunchly going to defend Hunter and McCarthy, both of these guys. So, but they're both at the moment. Nobody wants them, so you guys kind of swapped, hated, dynasty fallers. We'll see what happens there. But
I'm joking when I say like this is the most meaningless, polarizing trade that anybody's ever made, and it could be true, but I think both of these guys at their current price to stand in for Mike tonight have to be buys, because nobody wants them, and you just never know. You just never at this cost. I'll take a chance on Travis Hunter. I'll take a chance on JJ McCarthy. I mean, Kyler Murray could completely fall on his face this year, and all it takes is another opportunity for J.J. McCarthy to prove that he's worth being the number 10 overall pick. You just never know.
I will say, I think theoretically, to me, I could see paths for both of these guys to not be as cooked as the mainstream or the consensus will tell you that. At the same point, though, kind of depends. Like for me, Travis Hunter and a 27-second for Barkley, that's the most recent trade. I don't know that is that terrible. The 109 or Travis Hunter, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I'm re-rolling. I like Travis Hunter, but I'll take the 109 in this class for sure. Let's see. You got now Travis Hunter for Kyle Monangai, no fucking chance. So it's gonna be all over the place. I think the value for Hunter and what is gonna happen in your league is probably really specific. But if you do sense a guy is panicked on Travis Hunter, listen, go throw some offers out there. A 28-second. Just for time decay, give me Travis Hunter. I mean, that second doesn't accrue value. Well, it accrues value, but it doesn't actualize for 3 years. I'll take that. The 307 for Travis Hunter, definitely in the third round range. I'd take a shot. So
that's
up and down.
We're getting into crazy town there.
But I mean, again, I think both these guys, you'll see the market just being nowhere near consensus. Some people, maybe you can't actually get a really good return for either one of them, and in some leagues you may have to you'll take whatever you can get. So if I'm in that position, third round, second rounds in future years, I'd probably pivot into that. We'll go ahead and get into questions here shortly. We do have another super chat though. Oh man, I was actually waiting to see. Not that it would be a serious comment, but when do we get the Diana Rossini? I don't really want to touch the topic, frankly, but I do love this comment. Diana Rossini's love life over this draft class is hilarious. Oh shoot, did I lose you, Seth? He's frozen. So did I lose you, or is it me? Am I the issue here? Is it my internet? I know we've had power issues and internet issues. Oh, Seth, are you back?
Am I back?
You were frozen for a while. Okay, you back? Can you hear me? He's here. He's alive.
I'm back. I can hear you. I don't think
spooky.
I think I left. I was here the whole time, but I never left.
Okay. No, that was spooky.
And that makes no sense. Or
No,
actually, it does.
I think
it's
it does.
just very stupid to say.
I think it was like magic, like black magic, kind of like voodoo, you know?
Yeah, we've had a weird night with technology.
With Mike going to New Orleans, we're going to get into that here in a second. But go ahead. What were you going to say with Diana Rossini?
I'm like the worst. If you know me, I am the absolute worst with gossip or any sort of tea. I'm always astounded when anybody. I was like this. I've been like this my whole life. In high school, I was always the last person to find out anything, and everybody thought it was hilarious. And I was just I don't know what that says about me personally, Adam. I don't know if that I'm just.
Is it your lack of interest in the gossip, or is it the fact that you would somehow just not know about it for forever, or both?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. Like
I will say, can I say this about you?
Headline.
Someone that's met you, known you. I would say we're maybe not like great friends, but we're more than acquaintances at this point, right? I met like I totally. This isn't a bad thing or a mean thing. I totally can see that about you, and I love that. I love hearing this. But keep going. Give me some gossip. Some Seth gossip. Come on, talk.
Oh, Seth gossip. Oh my God.
Oh, just about this Diana Rossini. Tell me what you're thinking about this scenario, or what you were going to get into about past stuff in your life or whatever.
This could be like drunk history, although I'm not really that drunk. But yeah, this could be good, like a good show, like YouTube channel idea, like. Talk about something you have absolutely no idea. So this is how I understand the topic here. Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini were photographed hugging each other. Is that correct? They were hugging
amongst. They were.
Oh, or there's some more intimate things.
No, there wasn't. There was no image of them that is truly condemning individually. Like, oh, this is it. Like no Aaron Andrews peephole type thing, anything crazy like that. Right? Yeah. But what I will say is there's enough. They're at this hotel. It's those two, in a lot of different places that are, it just you know what I mean. I don't want to comment too much on it, but there's enough overall pictures and different scenarios, different spots where it's like, come on, man. And then you put together the Diana Rossini, every time she talks about her husband and her love life currently at the house, it's beyond like funny, and it's like darker than funny sometimes. It's like, damn, man, like it's kind of crazy. I think Diana Rossini and maybe Mike Vrabel too should just be a little bit more like me. Like I kind of just stumble through life, I like Dynasty, I like friends that I've made here, like you and Mike, T-Rock and. You're a simple guy.
The guy, everybody I met at the draft. Like, I don't know. Like, why are you going around talking about your husband? Like, that must be really bothering you. Like, if I just came into like behind the scenes on this show and I was like, Adam, gosh, me and my wife's relationship is horrible. Like, if that was the first thing out of my mouth. Like that's not good. Sure. That's like I was just begging to tell somebody, and that the first person I found, I told. That's smoke. There's some smoke there, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't know anything about nothing, relationship wise. So
I love that. I love that I've gotten. I love that. I don't want to say I love that you've given the audience this much for a topic that you're not really into. Like that in and of itself is a big W. I think. Yeah, be more like Seth, in this type of thing where simple. You know what you like. You're a PSL type of gal. Like it's easy. It's okay. But I mean, listen. I'll just cut to the chase on the topic of this part. I'm not going to get too far into it because I think there's more to lose than to gain or whatever. I
think we've given him his money's worth. I think I did my bit for the
$1.99. And by the way, I just realized it's in euro, so I don't even know. How the conversion
What's the conversion rate to that?
Well, YouTube also tends to, take a little heavier cut. Shout out Google. Jeez. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Jay, definitely been worth more than $1.99. But I mean, listen, if you're trying to get out there, you're making content, you're someone like her. You put out, and this is not just her. This is people talk or they try to hide and overdo stuff with their insecurities, right? So they may think they're putting on this face or saving face by talking about it enough and in kind of a joking manner. But then, they don't necessarily realize they're doing a little extra with it. But for insecurities, that's how a lot of times it can be in life, man.
Can I take this maybe one step further than I should about the job profession?
If there is one place in the world that you can do that, it would be, I would imagine, South Harmon. But yes, please go ahead, and then we'll actually keep going. Yeah, let's let this ride.
So how many NFL insiders do we actually need? Like do we have Schefter? Do we need and Rappaport?
One more.
Like do we need like the Peter Schraegers? Do we need them? I don't know. Like how much information is out there, and how many people do we need to parse through it for 32 NFL teams? I know that the beat writers are different, but I'm talking about total NFL insider, because I hear some of these people talk, and I'm sure they do good work, but it just feels like a 3-minute segment that I could have written down myself and repeated out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, well, yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about that, specifically, but I'll say this, like, I think that the reason is that they have a different connection, and I mean, it's kind of how things could be messy for a Rossini connection to a coach, that there's a connection between coaches, and, if you're willing to go out there and get it out of the mud and find a way to come up, no one can tell you no, right? It's part of the capitalistic culture. But I hear you though. What is the value for some of them? I hear you. I get it.
Yeah.
I will admit, T-Rock's got a great point though, and this is probably a shot not directed at me, but it starts to feel like, damn, like I'm up here, I get terrible trades done sometimes in Dynasty. Like I'm trying to talk about stuff that I'm maybe not necessarily all that well informed on all the time. So that could be something that feels like, damn, I better be careful.
No, I mean, if you're honest with yourself, we've all had stinker trades, no matter how good of a Dynasty player you are. So
no, I know. I'm being lighthearted, but shout out to T-Rock, my guy.
Oh yeah.
But
appreciate it,
I mean, I will say, definitely. This goes to the 26 class. Let me pivot quickly. The 26 class is so lackluster that this has taken everything by storm. I mean, it's not even 26 pales in comparison to this. So, but you dipped out for just a second. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't planning for this.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are back. But I was trying to get the comment of Dynasty Theory, because he said he lost Seth for a moment, and that was weird and spooky. What did you think about that? Did you get some kind of weird feedback or anything?
No, I've been, as far as I know, I've been here the whole time. I don't quite know I know it's storming where I am. So
is it?
I don't know if that has anything
Same
to do
here.
with it. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, bad storms. And
Really?
I'm kind of sick of them because I need to mow the lawn, and the weather won't let me.
Well, Mike's going down to NOLA here. Like, he's going to be, living there, got a promotion, all that. And the theme coming up for oddly that building around for this Halloween stream that we have coming up way in the future is all based on the Jordan 1 Voodoos, and that's all New Orleans theme. And I think honestly it's been spooky with everything going on. I don't know, man. It's like
Get over here!
No, I got these scars.
And action.
You can run, but you can't hide.
what the?
Never sleep again.
Wow.
Oh, that's exactly what I needed. Wow.
Dude, you're gonna be sleeping good tonight, right?
Oh, you see, here's another thing. We're just, I mean.
Next Mark, by the way, that's a little preview trailer for way in the future Halloween stream, one of our favorite times of the year. But had to throw that in randomly, Seth. I felt like it was a good time to do it.
Oh, of course. I think I am like adamantly opposed to scary movies. Like I can't.
Oh,
I
for
can't
real,
do it.
dude?
For real.
Awesome. It's funny because Oh shit! I didn't know that.
No, see, this didn't scare me. Like it's fine. But we had
you're fine now. He climbs.
Yeah.
Are you're gonna be like Mike running up the stairs? One of the best things about it, though, I think that makes it for us is that Mike and I are on different ends. Like I kind of like the Halloween theme and it doesn't necessarily scare me per se, but I've always liked that type of atmosphere, and it is intriguing to me. But Mike being so scared of it and not wanting it is kind of what makes the dynamic pretty fun. So you being on that same side is really, I think, I didn't realize that when I was playing this.
No, it's all good, man. We actually had a friend's birthday, and we went to a, what do you call them, an escape room.
Oh yeah,
and we got
I've
there,
done the escape rooms,
and we got there, and it was horror themed, and I about had a panic attack. To be honest,
wait, hold up, for real? Oh shit,
yeah,
my bad.
Yeah,
dude. I guess I
no,
I didn't QC.
no.
I'm out here trying to scare the kid.
No, it's fine. Like I'm good. Like that really didn't didn't scare me all that much. But
okay,
like the happy ending, like not like it was not one of those. I don't know what I'm trying to say now.
One of those places. I got you, buddy. You're good.
Yeah,
no, it was the escape room turned wrong.
Pop out of the walls. I thought it was well.
So it wasn't a
where,
haunted house, right? It was a escape room that was a horror thing, right?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one of those places where the people pop out of the walls and like intentionally try to get you to have a heart attack. And I thought if that
like
happen,
a true haunted house. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it didn't end up being like that, and I got to be in a lit room the whole time, so it was fun. It actually turned out pretty well. It was like the most involved I've ever been in a escape room, and we got out. So
well, dude, it sounds like with the horror thing going
happy
on,
ending.
You really wanted to get out, like the movie Get Out, I think is what it's called. But so was it like you said you were gonna have a panic attack? Was it that scary? Was it, or were you that like in the moment like panicking?
I was. Yeah, you can ask my wife. Like I was.
Oh, I believe you. One thing about Seth, I don't think you're gonna lie to me.
No. I'm too dumb to lie to anybody. I
don't believe that part.
No, I tell people all the time, like I'm really not interested in being anything other than myself. I don't know what that says about me, other than I'm just a simple guy who likes Dynasty Fantasy Football, and that's why I talk about it all the time.
Dude,
so
that's fantastic, though. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean that keeps me out of the Diana Rossini situation.
I was gonna say,
I mean?
that it says you're not an egomaniac, and you're not gonna try to start doing things that just we should leave elsewhere. But I will say for myself, I like trying to mix it up. I like trying to keep it creative. So that was kind of the spin on that. It was way too early, but I'm looking forward to the Halloween recap, which will be coming in obviously in October 26th. I think it's the 25th for this coming up year. So any thoughts on that though?
Let me just. Other than to say that you always have a trick up your sleeve whenever I'm on one of these AMAs, like you always have to just display your talents in some creative way. The last time was the Street Fighter, and it was
Mortal Kombat Street Fighter.
Mortal Kombat, Malik Neighbors
yeah.
versus Justin Jefferson, and
that was fun.
That actually kind of turned out terribly for both.
It's kind of crazy. Can I tell you the truth? That's why I leaned into the voodoo thing, right? Like, if you notice, it was Devin Neal, okay, the player. I wasn't gonna put a real Dynasty hopeful into the video because Seth, I kid you not.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, I had 2 years ago in the preview trailer or 2024 season. It was literally like the next week he tore his Achilles. Like it. There's something about me that's eerie, not in a good way, that can actually haunt players' careers. So I've been trying to not do that. But Justin Jefferson has an awful year, and Malik Neighbors gets injured for the season because I was standing for him. It's how it works sometimes for me. It's lose.
So it's like the Madden curse, like worse than the Madden curse.
Dude, there's definitely the ATM curse is potentially worse. But yeah, I'm hexed, kind of like hex marked. But yeah, make sure you get excited for that. Mike going down to New Orleans, him being in New Orleans, I think it'll be kind of fun. I will say this though, let's get into some questions. I know you've been waiting for it, and then we do have some cool wheel spins and some merch to get into towards the end of the night. Here, let's start with this though. Actually,
nice.
wait. I was gonna start with a question, but I got this. I know Seth's a big Tootin guy. Are you riding him into the season, or are you selling for a profit now? Thoughts on the Tootin situation? Matt Kelly hates him. Some say he could be the next Chase Brown. Well, I mean, he set it up that you love him. So talk to me. What are you Bashaw Tootin at the moment? This is directed with you, and I mean, I like Tootin too, but go ahead.
So first of all, not to toot my own horn or anything, no pun intended.
Please do.
But I made a trade targets video probably a month or two ago, back when Bashaw Tootin was in the hundreds, like I want to say like 130, 120, somewhere in there.
Okay.
He's now at 94 overall, according to Keep Trade Cut.
Yep.
I am not. I mean, I can't. Like, I'm trying to rationalize those people who, in April, think that they know enough about the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield situation to tell us that Chris Rodriguez is actually going to be somebody that we should be scared of.
Okay.
When one of the first decisions that this regime made was to draft Bashul Tootin as their running back, and they let Travis Etienne go. And I know that Chris Rodriguez is a player that exists.
And let's not completely forget, although people probably at this point don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that one of the things they did in the year, right, first year, was get rid of Bigsby too.
Yeah, and I like Bigsby too.
Bigsby was the prior regime drafted him day 2, a couple years prior, so they got rid of that pretty quickly as well.
But we're looking at, I think, at his current price, if you just look at the profile of the player, and again, this is pure projection because he hasn't done anything yet in the NFL. We're just going off of what the college tape told us and what we think he can be. 4.3 speed. He profiles as more of a new age, 5'9", a little bit undersized, 206 pounds, in an offense that has Liam Cohen calling plays. That, he basically turned around this offense in one season, a la Ben Johnson. So yeah, I get it. The yards per carry, the efficiency wasn't there in his first season. He's a rookie. I'm willing to give him a pass, and I'm still in the buy camp. I don't know what you think, but this is the kind of profile that I want to bet on, and I think the price is still reasonable. And I'm not scared of Chris Rodriguez. If Chris Rodriguez beats me, fine. Then I guess I lose. But how many times is Chris Rodriguez going to beat me? That's how I feel.
No, I mean, I think all the points you made are warranted. I think, in particular, one thing that I was going to kind of piggybacking on what you said and adding to it is that, you could say, okay, Bashaw Tootin day 3 pick, and that is true, right? And you can't take that away. But it was the early part of the 4th round. One thing to remember specifically, not just that, is that it was literally the pick they got from the Browns. That's how it was in early 4th, right? And you got to remember that was so essentially when I look at it and think about it. Now, you can say I'm doing too much. And by the way, remember Noah Fant. I've had plenty of terrible takes, Hex-like takes. But when you add it into and you bake it into the Travis Hunter trade, it's essentially like they were using almost a day 3 pick. Day 2 pick. Right, with him, and it was they did have a day 3 pick. I think they had a round 3 pick that they had. They drafted somebody else, but it was when you kind of bake it into the cost of what they had to pay for Travis Hunter. There's a very good chance I think that they're netting paying up into day 2 for Tootin. But also remind you, this is the same pick, similarly, that Cohen and his regime, when he was with the Bucks, took a guy like Bucky Irving and how much they started to give him more run, right? And Bucky Irving doesn't have the prowess as far as the athletic traits, right? Bucky Irving's a very good running back, but he does not have the athleticism anywhere near the degree. Bashaw Tootin's essentially like a create a player in like a lab. Honestly, he's like, as far as athletics go, like CJ Spiller. Now, I know that's a guy that didn't work out as well, but he's a, just freak. Almost 4.2s. I think it was 4.32, 40. Size, weight, all that's great with him. What I will say is this. I don't want to go too much Tootin's horn. I will say the problem for me, or when I think about like what could go wrong? I don't think they're going to come out and draft a running back this year. I don't think it's a deep enough class and good enough class to really threaten there. You bring up Chris Rodriguez. I'm not really worried about – listen, there's nothing that Chris Rodriguez, the prospect and the player, can do that worries me. Okay, but what he is a grinder and a guy that people just, I think in football, will like. He's a lunch pail guy. He does everything well enough, and you know he's going to work his ass off. When I look at Tootin, what was really interesting is for it being here, right? They didn't bring back ETN, although it was super expensive. They moved on from Tank Bigsby. They supposedly wanted to give him work, but never did. Like, you think about the one game where he kind of overtook ETN, supposedly. He was getting more run with him in the end. He got hurt, unfortunately, and we never got to see him back. The snap share and the touches are just insane. He literally played like on 20-some% of snaps. But during that 20% of snaps, 23%, whatever it was, like he got the ball well over 50% of the time he's on the field. And the problem with that I really see, it reminds me of a little bit of like smaller numbers, but Cam Akers, where you could not trust him in pass pro. The Cam Akers is a guy that burned me. That's the reason he doesn't get on the field much. Is basically if we're not going to guarantee we're going to give you the ball, we're worried about what it could happen on these plays. So going into it with him being the clear one, man, going from 23% snaps all the way up to 60-70%, which is what we're probably hoping for, right? That's lofty. And basically, is he going to have actually any real improvement in pass protection? Is he going to take on the responsibility to be that type of a guy for this team moving forward? I think that's what worries me about him, is we could see where he still is like, honestly, it's crazy with Rodriguez, but JCM, where we wanted to see him take over, he's given a lot of that opportunity, and it just didn't necessarily happen. So that would be my negative spin on it. But I do think when you say all that kind of summed up, that he's still going at running back 22. It's not like he's costing you an arm and a leg. You can get him, again, with the same exercise we just talked about. He's going, 112 straight up. You're looking at like the 111, 112, 201 range. I think I'm happily paying that in this class, honestly, as much as I talked good about the picks and wanting to have more picks. Bashaw Tutin's the risk is worth, I think. Juice is worth the squeeze here. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out, but I'm willing to pay market anywhere 110, again, here, the trades. Here's a couple I'm curious for you. Travis Hunter or Bashaw Tutin, and Malik Willis or Bashaw Tutin are two trades that I'm curious for you on.
Yeah, I would take Bashaw Tutin in both of those scenarios, I think. Because I just think, yeah, could Bashaw Tutin fall on his face and go, like you said, everything you said was good with the snap share and whatnot in the pass pro. But I think it could, like, looking at that in a good sense, Chris Rodriguez could do all the things that we don't really care about for fantasy.
Sure.
He could be the guy who runs in between the tackles and pass blocks, and Tutin could be the one catching all the passes.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's kind of the projection that I'm rolling with. So I'm honestly, I've never really been a fan of Malik Willis, and I have a hard time believing that him in Miami is going to work out. I could be wrong. And then going to Travis Hunter, and there's no bigger fan of Travis Hunter than me. I was taking him in multiple spots. He was my second overall rookie last year, just for perspective. And everything surrounding him has me worried. And I would view even the uncertainty of Bashul Tutin's place in Dynasty, with being as unproven as he is, I think I would prefer Bashul Tutin over Travis Hunter right now. So
I would too. I actually prefer Tutin over both. You could make the case for Malik Willis to me if you needed a quarterback and you're willing to basically forego the long game in Dynasty for the fact that he could maybe just give you a bunch of rushing points this year. You trust his just Konami side, but I would want Tutin in both of those scenarios just in a vacuum. So I'm with you, buddy. Let's get into some questions, though, here, and we will get into some of the giveaways. Superflex, PPR, it's actually just drawings, but Superflex, PPR, best ball, start 10, Seth. I don't know if you play in much best ball or any, but 104 or T. Higgins in Algier. Superflex, best ball, start 10.
I think that's relatively close, but I think I would side with the 104, because I do think that the wide receivers in this class, either Mekhi Lemon or Jordan Tyson, who Jordan Tyson is personally my wide receiver one.
Okay.
So that's probably against consensus, but
Tate
I think
could be there. He seems to be getting higher and higher to where he probably won't be there, but you're going to get one of those three receivers, right?
Yeah, what's funny to me about this is my comp for Carnell Tate is literally T. Higgins.
Oh, wow.
So I suppose going off of my own comps, getting Algier on top of that should be what I'm into. But honestly, I think Carnell Tate could be a little bit better of a pro than T. Higgins, because T. Higgins, as much as we like him for fantasy, he's been inconsistent. He's been hurt.
Yeah,
Unreliable at times. So give me the 104.
Yeah, I think that one's very close. What I will say is, like, it's interesting. T. Higgins, wide receiver 23. I think at the moment, so Tate's ahead at wide receiver 18. Lemon's ahead at wide receiver 19. For some reason, Tyson, I don't know if it's the injuries or what, he's on Keep Trade Cut, not like viewed anywhere near the same. He's 27, like literally 20 spots, almost different. All that to say, for me, I think that the player at 104 that you would take, that receiver, so whether that is Lemon, Tyson, Tate, I think as long as they don't come out and completely, shit the bed early, like don't get any run, don't get any touches, they're going to be in a position where they're going to probably go up even from those teens. So I think, like, if I'm rebuilding, I definitely will take the 104. If I'm trying to just play it even keel, I'm like in the middle, I'm not sure yet, and I haven't picked a direction, or I am contending, I think that the package here is probably what I would go in best ball, because I'm not really an Algier believer, or I think he's a little overvalued, but just 2 for 1, right? Give me the T. Higgins thing and give me Algier. I just want to have enough in best ball, specifically running backs, and it's hard to get guys actually that you're guaranteed are going to get run on your roster. So just because it's best ball, I would probably lean the package here. But if I'm any type of rebuilder, or I think in my league I know how youth and picks are valued and I can trade out of it later, the 104 still is very viable. I think it's close. I think best ball just makes me lean the package. But I think it's a very close trade. I could see it going either way on either side.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
All right, so let's see here. Let's keep going. We got my running backs. This is Tunchi, but you can't call me Tunchi. My running backs are Jacobs, Hendo, Bill. I'm thinking that's Little Bill, which I think at this point, can we just stop the whole thing? Like, this JCM, he never lived up and earned the Little Bill thing. Algier. QBs are Dak, Burrow, Kyler, JJ, and Rodgers. Would you trade Dak and Algier for Etienne and Darnold to upgrade at running back 2-3? So basically, you're going from Algier. Sorry, go ahead. You read it as you want.
Oh, I was just muttering to myself. So he's going basically downgrading from Dak to Darnold to get the upgrade from Etienne. Given your current quarterback situation, there is a lot of uncertainty at your quarterback 3. And I know Kyler's probably – you have JJ and Kyler, I suppose, so that does help. Mm-hmm. But Rodgers, I don't know what he's doing, smoking ayahuasca somewhere. Ha, ha, ha. That joke never gets old. But
for someone out of the know, you are
fair.
in the know. I love this.
Well, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I mean, keep your enemies close,
Yeah, friends close, enemies closer. Absolutely.
Yeah, I despise Aaron Rodgers with an unholy passion. I hate him so much. Anyway,
I love this
back
because
to the
people are either, he's polarizing. People either hate or love him. I love it. Keep going.
Well, I'm a Bears fan, so that would be why.
Duh.
I mean, and he owns. I mean, it sucks because he owns like an eighth of the Bears or something like that. It's terrible. We're never going to be able to get out of that. Dak and Algier. So this is really, really close. It's like. I think I guess I'm fine doing this considering you have a secure quarterback 3 either way. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't have that fallback, and Darnold's pretty much got his place, although he's pretty boring for fantasy.
Definitely.
I don't know. I'm pretty 50-50 on this, honestly. If you feel like you need to do this, we have Jacobs, Hendo, Bill, Algier. Yeah, if you feel like you need a running back, I don't mind this. I don't know if it's my favorite trade in the world, but I think it's fair. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's fair on paper. I think, frankly, I also don't know if this is lineup or best ball. I just always assume in lean lineup unless someone differentiates best ball at this point. But if I'm assuming lineup here, right? There's some ways I look at this, and I think Dak is one of these quarterbacks that's discounted. He's been this way for, you can go back and look at my videos, BDGE, South Harmon, for 2-3 seasons. It's like, all right, Dak is just being discounted because of age, and he's not really that old. And the quarterback position a lot of times gets discounted because of age unfairly or unjustly, or not really being realistic to the quarterback age window. I mean, we just talked about Matt Stafford being traded today for the 110 and the fucking 204, for God's sakes. Like, Dak's,
Yeah.
he's in low 30s. He's got plenty of viability in the tank, and he's one guy that also has, it doesn't always happen, it doesn't always cash, but does have high-end range of outcomes as far as points per game scoring. I think I would prefer to have Dak of all of the assets here. Like, when I just kind of think about it, if I do think it's close, am I drafting ETN or Dak? I'm probably taking Dak, honestly. ETN, to me, the contract's great. There's some things I like there. I'm not really sold on the New Orleans situation. I think I could get running back value or replacement points for an ETN and not have to invest in a running back like him in this time of the offseason, right? I think that's the thing for me I don't really love about it. And Algier and Darnold, I don't really care necessarily either way, but I think Darnold right now is going to be on the field. We saw he was on the field last year. It didn't matter for fantasy. He was irrelevant. I think Algier, if all things broke right, could actually be someone that I do want to start. So I think I prefer that side for a lot of different process reasons. Not necessarily that you can't want to have a running back. I think that's the fallacy. Like, if you start going to chase starters right now in April, I think overall for me, outside of like elite players that have really high value insulation, that tends to be something that you could look back on like, why did I do that? Why did I buy a starter? Why did I feel like I needed to plug a hole in my lineup in Sleeper in April? We don't play till fucking September. Like, so that's one of those things for me. As I'm reading and kind of thinking about it from that standpoint, that's why I would stay on the Dak and Algier side at the moment.
That's a good point. I think you've swung me to that side too, because I was pretty much up in the air on it. Because, I mean, Algier, as much as I'm skeptical, he's probably at least going to be in the mix there. If not, I mean, he's going to be the star. I mean, I think they brought him in to be the starter, I would assume.
He's definitely going to be at least a 1A, 1B, right? Like, that part for sure.
And we know Dallas can't stop anything defensively. And in fantasy football, we want to target these teams that are going to be playing indoors a lot, that have terrible defenses. I mean, Dallas has just been the mecca for fantasy football production. I mean, the biggest thing is when Dak is healthy, he's producing fantasy points in a big way, and Darnold is, he's just kind of there in terms of fantasy. He's good enough to get you win a Super Bowl with a good defense, but in fantasy, he's not going to really provide much upside. So you swung me there. I'll lean to that side too.
Listen, I think I'll take my little wins when I can get them. And to me, that's actually a big one. If I get Seth to come to my side of the round table, we'll take that every single day of the week, I think. Yeah. I'm curious what your thoughts are here about this. Like, I get it with Kyler. I think him and Marv thing was very interesting, and not in a great way, honestly. I think one of the things with Kyler is, like, grow up and take some leadership, take some responsibility. I think he's in a position, hopefully, with the contract and his career arc, and going to an offense and a team like with Kevin O'Connell, to finally, hopefully, see if he can grow up. So I think that's a good thing. But I will say, he also did lead Nuke Hopkins to have a very good, very, very good season in Arizona, although he was a lot older in his career. So, and I also don't understand with Kyler, there's like this, sometimes you get a little bit of groupthink as well with rushing style quarterbacks. And like Kyler Murray is a very high completion percentage quarterback, honestly. I feel like people really shit on him with his passing. Like, I don't want to say percentages. It's not like they care about stats. They act like he's a super inaccurate passer. I don't think that's the case. I do think there was some chemistry issues that were really weird with Marv. I think he definitely has had a lot of inconsistency. I'm not saying he's a polished, great passer, but I think the idea or the narrative that he's like a terrible passer and inaccurate is, I think, highly inaccurate, or not what I view him as. I'm curious your thoughts with that.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's been an anomaly for a long time. I mean, he started off red hot, like in 2020, 2021, where in 2020, I remember him being a first round startup pick in Superflex.
Yeah, when he was coming off of that great season, I think it was quarterback 3, right? he was in the
Yeah.
conversation for overall quarterback 1 and in like top 5, picks every time. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I've seen him go 1. I saw him go 101 in one of those years too in a startup. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the talent I don't think has ever been a question. Now, obviously, you make the jokes about him looking like an Ewok because of his size,
Sure.
but I mean, the dude has done it before. Now he's 28, going to be 29 heading into this season. Can Kevin O'Connell rejuvenate him? I think it's a decent bet to make at his current cost. I think we just need to make things as simple for ourselves as possible. And I get it. The body language sucks. He has been bad at times, but the Minnesota Vikings and a good head coach and what I think is a good organization is taking a chance on him when they have a guy they took number 10 overall. Now they did fire the GM who took the quarterback at number 10 overall.
Right.
So that might say something too, but I think that this is a guy at his current cost that for us as dynasty players is a good investment to make, regardless of what you think of his off the field. There's not much off the field with him, but you get what I'm trying to say here. It's
No, off the field
You
is
wish
more
he'd
so
be more
the video
bought in.
games, the
oh,
is he
that's
an actual
right.
leader.
The Call of Duty guy.
Yeah.
That's right.
I had to
Come
fill
off
you
the
in.
field
I
stuff.
know. Again, it's okay. I got you on this stuff. The off the field
Yeah.
stuff with Kyler's for some people a big deal.
Yeah, I wonder if they do the film.
He
Michael
was
Vick
very
film
upset
trick.
when they remember. He was very upset about them revealing that part of his contract. He was very defensive about that.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem if you were, more bought in. And it makes me wonder, like, what happened in 2020? Was it just a coaching thing or a scheme thing, and then the NFL caught up to it? Because,
Well,
we thought he was off to the races there for a minute.
yeah, I do think I think a lot of it comes like a quick synopsis or my opinion on it is, one, Kingsbury is a very good offensive mind, but not a very good head coach. You can look through all of his tenure, not just in the NFL, obviously, but so I think, and I also think when he started to play well, remember like the Hail Mary that happened in that game versus the Bills where they won. That was the great season they were having. You come into the league as a 101. You'd have a team that's terrible, right? They were Rose in the year prior was awful team. So when you start to turn it around, as the expectations are low, it's fine. As the expectations become the high, things change, right? And the expectations got to a really steep point. And it's hard in the NFL to win at an elite clip and become a difference-making team. If you look at the Arizona Cardinals the last 10, 15 years, they're towards the bottom. They're in the sewer as far as wins overall. They're a bottom of the barrel franchise, right? So like I think that goes into a lot of it. I think, to be honest with you, I don't think it was a great situation for him. I think Kingsbury liked him and knows how talented he is, know how he wanted to use him. But I don't think this was a winner's culture place. So I'm not going to try to defend Kyler Murray and act like he didn't have a lot of issues and reasons why they didn't win. He's the quarterback. He has the fucking ball in his hands. He's a ton of opportunities to make plays. But I think the last few years, you started to see the expectations that they once had dwindle more and more. And obviously this last year with Jacoby Brissett starting to play so well, it was time to move on. So I think for him, this is a defining point in his career. There's a pretty good chance to change the narrative, but again, it's going to be up to him. Patty Mills, stuck with JD. Listen, how do you get stuck with? I get it with the quarterback market, but you ain't stuck with Jaden Daniels, Lamar, and Dart in a 14 team. Start 9, no tight end premium. Terrible program, right? Just can't find a deal to move one for a roster upgrade. Who are some ideal targets? I'm game to move any of the three. Okay, so let me get there was a second part to this. I'm trying to find it. Well, what are your thoughts first and foremost here? Okay, here we go. Or does it make sense to liquidate one for a pick package? Seth, I'll let you take the reins on this first. I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what you got, buddy.
Well, I would first approach this question. I know it seems like right now that you're just living in, you're just rolling in quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks. But I'll tell you, speaking from experience in Superflex, you can really never have enough good quarterbacks on your team. And you're right, it
Damn
is a
Mike,
great
Mike
problem
Mike
to
is
have.
gonna show up. He's hearing that and he's gonna show up in the chat. He loves that. I love that too. I love hearing it. Go
Well,
ahead.
he's really controlling my body and my voice right now through voodoo down in New
Dude,
Orleans right now. So,
I'm telling you,
yeah.
he's on his way down there. It's gonna
And-
get dark. Weird.
And when I mess up, that's when my connection breaks up. Like when his connection breaks, so does mine. It's this kind of thing. So
when you froze on the screen, I thought for sure it was on my end because we've been having storms and shit over here. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I remember having a team that I thought was just a super contender. I had 5 starting quarterbacks. Now, just a couple years later, I'm left with like Dak, Justin Fields, JJ McCarthy. You get the picture. So what you think is an elite quarterback now, and I think you've got some great options here. I don't think Daniels or Lamar's value, or even Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's probably the one that if you could see his value sliding down if he doesn't play well this year.
It's the least
But in
stable
terms-
for sure, right?
Yes, it's the least stable, but his value's really high. So
Mm-hmm.
I would just caution you. You have 3 great options right now. If you're gonna make a trade, I would look to. You're gonna think I'm Mike again. Tear down from Jackson Dart to maybe a more boring quarterback, and then you pick up a piece that you need or a pick that you need. Or I mean, we all need picks, but I mean, currently Jackson Dart is 27th overall. That's really high. That feels like a high point in his value potentially, especially with Matt Nagy calling plays for him. So, yeah, I think if there's somebody who is just iffy, like I mean, I've always thought Dak Prescott's a great tier down candidate, and I think he'd be great as your quarterback 3. But even if you want to go down a little bit further, I'm higher on Tyler Shuck than a lot of people. Kyler Murray, if you wanted to be really risky, although I do think that's pretty risky.
Mm-hmm.
But like the boring quarterbacks like Jared Goff and Sam Darnold, like I bet you could pick up quite a bit on top of those quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield maybe in exchange for a Jackson Dart. But that, like, if you're gonna make a move, that's probably what I would start with. And if you do not get a quarterback in return, you better get a Godfather offer that can just shoot your team into an ultra contender status. But Adam, like, how would you approach this?
No, I mean, I think I will say this. In 14 team, depth is something that becomes so much more important and is so I like your tear down thought for sure. I think depth becomes so much more important, and it's weird because you might think you have depth, but in 14 team, you don't realize how many times your depth can run super thin based on you get to bye weeks and you have 2 or 3 injuries on your roster, and a lot of times I played in 14 team formats. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, you thought you had this great team. I specifically remember in a Destination Devy league having a team that I pushed my picks in, got Devontae Adams. It was awesome looking. I had like 2 injuries and a couple underperformers, and I'm starting just, it was like it wasn't even Rashid Shaheed level. It was like I'm just starting, dead bodies in a couple spots, and you get killed there. So I think tier down, if you can pick up and net other assets, is a great opportunity or approach to take. I will say a lot of times that may not be as viable depending on who you're dealing with. So if you're not able to do that, I would definitely urge you to consider looking that way. If that's not the case, or if you can't get that done, I think there's a couple ways to think about this. One, for me specifically, again, kind of going to the point I was making earlier with the ETN potential trade and staying with Dak's side there. Like, you don't have to put a roster together. You don't have to start players yet. I understand this conundrum, this feeling in Dynasty for sure at the moment, right? The quarterback market as a whole is down. You're not able to flip assets at QB and leverage them like you once used to. But you do have, I think, 3 of the desirable ones, right? So what I would tell you to do is this. One, think about it like, if I can't get the value out of these guys in a trade, I'm okay having depth and really high-end depth at QB. Like, it's not like I'm not like in a quarterback horde that really just screws over my roster. I have 3 quarterbacks. I have a very, very, very good and high dynasty value quarterback 3. Of course, you'd like to flip that around a little bit, but there's no issues going into the season with this if you had it. And the reason I say that is because when bye weeks come around, when other quarterback injuries happen, that's going to be the most optimal time for you realistically to cash in on this, right? So somebody right now looking at their roster may be perfectly fine with Sam Darnold or Malik Willis or whoever they have right now as their quarterback 2 and only option there, right? But you go into the part where the season where you have injuries and someone needs a quarterback, they're literally bleeding value at the superflex spot. That's where I think you probably are going to end up having to get you're going to be in a much better position to get a trade done and probably much happier with the offers or potential offers coming in. If you're really trying to get it done right now, I think you got to be kind of sneaky. I think one thing that you can't do in the offseason right now is put these guys on the block and expect people to start sending you crazy offers because, again, they're not looking at their roster like, oh, my God, I need to have a quarterback today. If you have a team like that out there, start shooting offers to that team specifically. But this is kind of a quarterback hoarding strategy, which kind of comes down to it has to be their idea, not yours, if it's when we're not scoring points and when they don't have to set a roster. So I would probably say you're probably in a better spot to hold at the moment. If you're going to get an offer or there's someone that's willing to play ball, I'm all for it. But at the moment, you're just trying to shove a quarterback down someone's throat because you want to have a skill player in your roster. Everybody wants to have a skill player in the roster. Everybody wants to look at their roster and see a better starting lineup. So I think that's just where I would tell you. You guys probably hate hearing boring old Adam, man. Go buy these shitty draft picks. Go buy older assets nobody wants. Go. Just hold on to these quarterbacks you can't play. I think patience is probably your best bet here, buddy. And that's not to sugarcoat it. That's just the truth. We do have a super chat though. So Patty, I held this super chat off, but we'll get money back on the screen. He's got Puka, Neighbors, and Burden. Why? I think he means what can I do with Myers, Ayuk, Jaden Higgins, Coker, McMillan? Any ideas to trim roster down, maybe get a cornerstone guy? Jay, I'll tell you this. I think with the super chat at €4.99 now is well worth, give me the rest of your roster. I think it's going to be hard to give you ideas on roster trim down and trade specifics here, which I want to get into with you, and Sir Seth does too. But we just know your wide receiver room at the moment. Go ahead, though, buddy. What are your thoughts on this generically? He does want to say this too. It's English pounds, Adam, not euros. You know what? I deserve that. You're absolutely right. It is English pounds. It's 4 a.m. over here in England. Hey, good for you, buddy.
Oh my
Way to
God.
be up late with us. You know what? And for that, I apologize. All right, I take everything back I said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, dedication right there. We think we're dedicated to this, doing this at 10 p.m.
We're nowhere
Central
near. Dude, Jay is literally fighting sleepy eyelids and sending English pounds, not euros. So what are your thoughts on this as we hopefully get him to send the rest of his roster?
Man, this is tough because we're not really sure if Brandon Ayuk, what's going to happen with that. Jacoby Myers is a nice piece. I like Jaden Higgins quite a bit. I've been a Coke head for a long time, Jalen Coker.
Dude, good for Seth. This guy he's trying to sell you as this playing guy. He's been a Coke head for such a long time. I love this.
So you've got So you've got a lot of nice pieces here, but I just don't know. I mean, it's going to take quite a package to get to a cornerstone unless you throw in maybe a rookie pick, and it kind of depends on where your roster is too. I wouldn't want to, because as much as we want to poo-poo some of these players that don't have a ton of value, I mean, Jaden Higgins is on my buy list for this year because I love the player and I think he's in a situation that he can really thrive in. And Jacoby Myers was really good last year too. So, I mean, if this is more of a win now team and you're trying to package, like, just be wary of giving up too much depth to go get that cornerstone guy, even if you can do it. And like, I don't, and it's tough to answer this question without really knowing what your needs are too.
Right.
But if you wanted to,
that's why I say, like, if you could put the rest of your roster in and even give us specifics here, like, is it 12 team, 10 team, 14 team? How many starters? Go ahead though, Seth. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, but like if you could, I mean, I could see a world where, you package a couple of these players and maybe a rookie pick, and you can go up and get, like, and I don't know what your definition of cornerstone players. I don't think that this would be a cornerstone player, but maybe in the Jalen Waddle, Saquon Barkley, maybe you maybe you can get somebody to flip you Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know, but that's kind of the range I think you're looking at. But you would have to add more
Right.
than what you have right now, I think, to that. And I think it would have to come in the form of rookie picks. And if you're giving up rookie picks, I would heavily advise against giving up rookie picks, but the only reason you do that is if you're trying to go get a cornerstone guy or a guy that you think that can put you over the edge, and only if your roster is heavily tiered toward upside, youth, and product. You want players that are producing right away and that are young, right? That's the ultimate goal. So if you have a lot of those players and you feel like you have a smash team that's gonna go the distance, and I would again advise caution to thinking that, because we've all had teams that we think are that way and aren't, turn out to be with injuries and amongst other things. So
Damn,
I would
dude,
just be.
You don't have to hit home so bad. I mean, I've
No,
unfortunately had that
I'm-
happen. It stinks. It's a place you never want to be when you think you have a contender. You think you're coasting, and all of a sudden you're missing the playoffs. That sucks. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to add to that, and that's never ever a place you want to be. Is
hold
out of
on.
contention,
This could not be a better point you're making, because 14 team start 11. For those that don't know, this is a deep format. 14 teams to spread the players thinner. Start 11, even in a 12-team league, is a pretty deep starting roster. It's getting towards a deep one. So pause on how deep this is. Goodness gracious, but. This is a format where you need a lot of depth. So I don't know if you've seen here the other one I put up here. Here's what his team really looks like, right? If you go back to the super chat, we'll do this in segments here. English pounds, we got it. Okay, back to the super chat. He's got Puka, Neighbors, Burden. Okay, now let's think start 11 for a second, just to give everyone frame of reference, and then we'll get into the wheel after this. All right. So you're going to probably have in a start 11, start 3 receivers, right? You're going to have 2 running backs that get you to 5. Your quarterback is going to be 6. Your tight end is going to be 7, okay? Super flex is going to be 8, which means what? That's another 3 flex players, right? So you have 3 flex, 3 receivers. You could start up to 6 receivers. You could start up to 5 running backs. This is a very deep format. Now think about this. You got Puka, Neighbors, Burden, obviously when healthy, all these guys, automatic mainstays. But that's your that's just your random starting receivers. That doesn't even touch flex yet, right? You have Myers, Ayuk, Higgins, Coker, McMillan. Okay, so we got the rest of his roster looks like this. Quarterback, he's got Hurts, Nix, Anthony Richardson. A lot of upside. Love his game, love his talent. But listen, he's who knows what's going to happen here. So you don't have a quarterback 3, right? Kenneth Walker, Judkins, Tootin, and lots of young running backs. I keep asking you questions for these, but they better be European pounds and not euros. English pounds, not euros, because I'm going to ask you more questions here. Give me what those young. I think with start 11, we need the depth here more. But Gadsden, Barner, Arroyo at tight end. When you look at this roster and think of the format, Seth, I just wanted to, it's a great point you're making about depth, but I think we need to think about it even a little bit more extensively. So where are your thoughts now when you look at the whole roster?
Yeah. I still think it's going to be I love the top end of your quarterbacks, and I understand in a 14-team Superflex league, it's going to be tough to get that third quarterback. And I think Anthony Richardson is as good of an upside bet to make a stash at the quarterback position.
For sure.
You just never know.
Sure.
But I wonder, I still don't think, even with the context of your roster, what you're looking to do here, because it looks as though you're going to be starting Kenneth Walker, Judkins, assuming he's healthy, which I last time I checked, he's on track to be ready for the start of the season. Bashul Tootin, who projects to be the starter. So I like your running backs.
Are you saying some of these 11 are IDP players? That changes things a little bit, but keep going.
Oh, see, man, I've been trying to learn the IDP streets, but
so here's the thing: IDP for the most part, and I don't want to act like I'm an IDP guru. So if you're an IDP listener out there saying I don't know what I'm talking about, that's fair. But I will tell you, by and large, and this is a blanket statement that's maybe a little bit too, generic. But by and large, unless the scoring is absolutely juiced on the defense side of the ball, it's negligible for the most part for IDP players. That's just the way the scoring is set up at the moment. So, but I guess how many of these are IDP players that you have to start, because that does change things. But keep going.
Yeah, no, but I'm just, I guess where I'm struggling is I'm just not sure like how many of these guys you can package that's going to be enticing enough to get a player that is going to be impactful enough for you. I almost think you're going to have to give up too much depth in a 14 team league
Yeah,
in order to
that's
do that. And
100%.
you're going to have
That's
to give up
100% right.
and you're going to have to give up too many rookie picks on top of like a player like Jacoby Myers is probably more valuable to your team right now than you're going to be able to trade him away to get, assuming you put him in a package. So I would probably hang tight with that and just kind of be opportunistic with deals that come your way because you never know what can happen. Put those guys on the block. I mean, there's nothing that can be hurt by doing that. I think that this is a pretty balanced all around good team, especially with those elite wide receivers in it. It looks like you've built it pretty much exactly how I would have built it by not really investing too heavily in the tight end position. I mean, Gadsden's a great hit by you. I'm assuming you probably got him last year if this is a league that's been going for multiple years late in your rookie draft. Barner, I mean, in a 14-team league, he's a spot starter at tight end, and Arroyo is a stash. But if you and I'm usually not a guy who recommends upgrading at the tight end position at all. So I think you're fine there. So he's got some more context here.
His young running
Jonathan
backs
Brooks,
are a
Jordan
lot
James,
of
Dylan
hopefuls, but
Sampson.
you want to roster.
I like Dylan Sampson a lot too. I mean, especially if
So
you
do
have
I.
Quinshawn and he's not ready for the start of the season. You got the handcuff there.
Good point.
I think this is a pretty good 14-team roster, and I don't, like I said, I just don't know if you have enough to quite upgrade without giving up too much. Now I could be completely wrong by saying that, and you could, like I said, just keep your ear to the ground and keep in a 14-team league especially, it's important to really, really have your ear to the ground and grind the waivers. And I mean, that's already paid off for you really with Gadsden late in your rookie draft. So just keep doing your thing, man. I think you're on the right track, and I don't necessarily think you have to make a move for a blockbuster player.
Yeah, so okay, here we got the final piece of context. Okay, great. And I'll give you my thoughts based on this too. So hold on now. Okay. Is it 11 offense? Because there's no way you're only starting 3 offense. So are we starting 8 defense and 11 offense? Because if that's the case, I think that's the final question I'm going to ask of you. And I'm going to assume that is the case because there's no way we're 3 offensive players.
This is like a true sicko league.
I love
you're starting
20. And now I get the 4 a.m.
awesome.
thing. I get
awesome,
all this.
by the way.
It's all making sense.
Yeah.
This is dope.
Yeah,
I like it.
This guy listens to the IDP show. Leave in the comments, Jay, if you listen to the IDP show, because I do some work for them, and they are
OW.
IDP
I didn't know that.
just grinders. Oh, yeah, like shout out to the IDP show, and it's really dumb on me for not learning more by editing their content for as long as I have. I should know more about IDP.
Sick.
I know who the good defensive players are. I know you want linebackers and pass rushers, and
Definitely
corners are valuable.
Yep.
So I know some of the fundamentals, but I just don't play in IDP leagues. But they're the best. The IDP show guys. If you want IDP, I guarantee you this guy listens to them.
Definitely.
I would almost put some good money on it, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean he's listen. The IDP information is not. It's extremely niche, and the people that are talking about it, if you're looking for that information, that's dope to have somebody that's talking about it and giving you good breakdowns like they are. So I will say this: start 11. Yep. I'm thinking about it this way. I can't really give you a whole lot of context on the IDP. Typically, I've seen unless it's juice scoring, it's not necessarily a thing that tends to matter in warp. Is where I kind of stand on it. That's all I can really give you. So if I'm looking at 11 starters, right, going back to this thing. I wasn't sure how many starters we were going to have because it's kind of gone up and down. If we're at 11 offense, this whole thing, I think we need to think about 2 things. This is the way I look at it, okay? Before I even know 14 teams, one of the things I'm looking for with my roster, now, you may have all your picks, so I'm not saying that you're like forcing to go to contender here, right? But I think this is a principle that's important to discuss. You got 14 teams or 12 teams, either in those formats. Depth is important when we're starting 11. And I think the other thing is if you're trying to be a contender, it's really easy this time of year especially to misconstrue your dynasty roster and value for contending and production. And for me, that's where I've found where I have those teams that tend to flame out of nowhere. I go through and I'm asking myself the real question: is the dynasty value in this player tied to production, or is it tied to projection? And they may be both. Both tends to be the elite players, though. The ones that are projection and production, those are freaking, elite cornerstone assets typically. So when I think about it from that standpoint, right? I think your receivers, you have the first three: Puka, Neighbors, Burden. Listen, Burden, let's call it what it is. I like Burden a lot. I know a lot of people love him. I don't like him anywhere near his market value, and I think he is clearly projection, not necessarily proven production. Puka and Neighbors, I think, are more proven production, okay? Myers is a production guy. There's no value in his projection, right? Same thing with Ayuk. So you can go through and see this, but when you get to the next part of your team here, for me, this is where it's problematic. Hurts and Nicks, probably production. But your running back room, frankly, is all projection. Your entire running back room is projection, right? And your tight end room is projection too. So the reason I say that is, production-wise, I'm not sure that you're a contender with this team, although there's a lot of very good dynasty value. You've built a good roster. I'm not trying to say you haven't, but I'm saying if you're trying to consolidate, right, and build and improve specific roster spots at the high-end level, that becomes dangerous when you already don't necessarily have a lot of depth, and we're not sure if you're a production team. So I think I'm really careful if I'm you about selling future picks, especially on this team, to make this move. With that being said, I mean, it makes it really hard when I'm looking at this roster, knowing the format, knowing the depth you need, to be an advocate of packaging legitimate assets that you're going to have to hope the projection meets production to go get a cornerstone asset. So in this format, maybe it's actually kind of viable to buy the higher end assets because everyone wants depth. But man, if I'm in your position, I think I'm going into this season not locking myself into having to be a contender. I think there's a very good chance you could be, but I don't want to lock into that too early. And I don't know that I want to pay right now what it's going to cost for a cornerstone asset, frankly, with the roster you have, without knowing your picks. I think if I'm you, I'm a broken freaking record today. I'm patient. If I'm going to package stuff up, it's going to be like Tootin and Burden. They're close to the point in their dynasty value that they could go up, but they're very high dynasty values that are tied to projection. So maybe if you could package a Tootin and a Burden to go get a true elite producer that's not necessarily an older player, maybe something like that. Or Gadsden. I think if you're going to do anything, Gadsden would be a guy that I would love to throw into the mix here. Gadsden's value is very high. Stuff like that, I think, is how you get it done. Think about who is projection heavy and who's very hot at the moment. It's Burden. It's Tootin. It's Gadsden. So those would be the guys that I use my assets to try to go get something like this done if I did want to do it. But I think right now I might sit on my hands if I'm you.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think as I was kind of listening to you talk, I Gadsden was the guy who stood out to me just because I don't really value the tight end position all that much. I didn't see if it was tight end premium. Right. And if it's not, then even further down. But Gadsden right now is just,
okay,
I mean,
he actually said it though. My team's just young and doesn't score enough. So I'm a heavy draft prospect guy who dives deep into rookies each year. All right. You already knew kind of the lecture I gave. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but he's at least on ball.
Yeah. And that's great. And that's going to obviously, I mean, he's put together a pretty good team and that's probably why. But yeah, I mean, if you package Gadsden and, either a Luther Burden or a Bashul Tootin, like that is where you could really jump up to that elite tier. Yeah. If that's something you want to do, but even that like kind of scares me a little bit because risky, there's a world where, it's for sure a risky move. And I think your roster is, at the risk of sounding boring, I think it's pretty good. I think it's just fine. And making a move like that could be beneficial, but you could also just trade away a couple of stars in the making, which is what Luther Burden, Bashul Tootin, Gadsden, they're all young and they all have a ton of potential. So, I mean, you could be kicking yourself too if you made that trade. It's a really tough discussion, but it's a good one to have. Because if you made me pick, like it would just kind of depend on the name that you could get. I mean, are you telling me that you can get?
I was just gonna say, I think a better way to do that. There you go. I think a better way to really like frame this would be, okay, where would your comfort level be? Like if you're sending away Tootin and Burden right now, knowing the market to get this cornerstone asset in this format. I mean, CD Lamb for me. I would do it. Like see that's the scenario where let's name some assets. So what about Tet McMillan?
Oh, that's right there where I would. That would be really close. That would be really close. I'll tell you a name I would do it for in a heartbeat is Omarion Hampton, I think, which is another projection guy.
True.
It's another projection guy. So that's also like it. So,
it is.
But
the thing is,
I just love that situation though for him this upcoming year and that Chargers offense as a whole. He's young, so
it makes sense. I think Hampton is a guy that you're betting on projection, but also his market is crazy hot. So like he really didn't do much last year. He flashed barely, and his market is basically the exact same. He's a top 25 asset on Keep Trade Cut. He's one of the guys you could see where if he starts to make the leap this year, he starts to actually play well and produce. You could see him getting to the elite stratosphere, where the running back market right now is crazy, where it's like you have the have and have-nots. You got the Genty. He could get to that Genty range where people believe in him long term. So I'm there. I wouldn't do it for Tet, frankly. I think there's a lot of wide receivers down this list here that I would not bet on that package for, to be completely honest with you. So I think it's a very small list of guys that I would probably do it for. If I'm getting to what I've seen is a combination of really elite scoring, someone that's kind of had staying power or we believe has staying power based on their profile in the top 10 range, and also gives you top 10, top 5 range of outcome scoring. So, I'm talking, Amon-Ra, CD, probably London would be my bottom, guy that I'm looking to do it for. Like I would be willing to make that type of a jump, and because of the Tootin and Burden to me are both very risky assets, but I would still need to get to that range. If it's Gadsden and Burden or Gadsden and Tootin, I'm at a different conversation. I could probably go a little lower down the rankings here, but that's kind of the range I'm looking at. Yeah,
I think Drake London is the fair choice. Like getting a player in the top 20 just barely. Like if you told me Luther Burden and Bashul Tootin for Drake London and that's the move you made, I think I would endorse that. I think I'm right along in that stratosphere with you. Yeah. I wonder like I think I agree. Anything below that's pretty much, or we're talking about Devonta Chan. We talked about Omarion Hampton, Teteroa McMillan. Yeah. I think that is the line. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, and I think that, to be honest, you in order to thread the needle and even get that type of a trade done, the trade partner you're going to have in a team, the team he's going to have and the way he's going to have to view things is going to be similar to yourself. Like he's going to have to be someone that chases the projection, chases the young guy really into that, because people, by and large, when you're talking to top 20 assets that have produced for multiple years, they typically don't like taking on. The average gamer doesn't like taking on two super risky, high-value players at the moment, even if it could pay off for a cornerstone asset. So I think you just need to be like, to me, everyone has their way of doing it. I like to be a little more thought out with my trades and try to have a good discussion, even if I don't get a trade done. So I'd probably be trying to look in my league and be like, hey, what players in my league would fit the bill here? Like if you have players in your league that are chasing these old crusty vets, like don't waste your time. Like, right, don't waste their time either. So that's my last point on this. We'll get to the wheel. We have two. I didn't get last week's done. So we have a merch, which, by the way, next week I will have the app officially out that you can go do this on the app right now. It's just only in the Patreon. So patreon.com/South Harmon. We have merch drawings to get to here, my friends. So we'll go ahead and do that now. If I can hit the correct button, that would be great. I may not be able to. So what we may have to do is just, do it the old-fashioned way. Hold on one second here. See, I'm out here messing everything up today. Late and not doing the right buttons here. Let's see. Oh, I got it.
Technical. Yeah, technical.
All right, we're
things.
Here. We got it. We're good. All right, so how this works, cutting off half my face here, but that's probably not a bad thing for some of you. We got Veagles. We got McNutted. And we got BC. This is for the Black Money Moves polo, which is right here. So you can get a good look at it, right? We got the Money Moves polo. There's only 2 of these out there. Pretty sweet one. Jordan merch brand. So if you win the drawing, it's $65, and you have an opportunity to press your luck, $35 for a press your luck spin of the wheel. But literally every time anyone's ever done it, they are winning jerseys. Jerseys worth $150 or more. Shoes worth $150, $220. It's a fun time to be alive when the wheel's here. So here, let's spin this first one, and then we'll get into see who wins. If Mike wins again, it's gonna be crazy, brother. Like Mike's out here just stealing from the people that are supposed to be getting the merch for us.
Wait, so Mike is eligible for this?
Anyone in the Patreon's eligible. So yeah, listen, don't.
It seems like a loophole.
Beagles. All right. The last time we had a whole weird thing going on with Mike winning it, but the rotator didn't do anything crazy. Beagles wins. And Beagles, I will say this, Beagles is in the top tier of our Patreon. He has won at an alarming clip. BC's first entry. Beagles gets it again. All right, so Beagles is going to win the Money Moves polo. The next one up is the here, let me grab this real quick. Here's a look at a gray version. The next one is for a t-shirt here. We have a gray and a white one. So let's see who is going to win. Let's see let's see who's eligible for the wheel. It's right here. We're spinning. BC's back in. You didn't even get to see. I didn't even stop it. Sorry. BC. So sorry for Toto, Rippin, Gimme Locks, and Beagles. Although Beagles shouldn't even have been in it after he just won. But BC, congrats. Winner of those. So I think both these guys have already agreed to press your luck. You'd be a fool not to press your luck at this point in the day. So we'll start off here. Beagles, being the over and over winner. We'll see what he gets for press your luck. All right. Now, these are all the options you can win here. There's a lot of them. There's no losers on this wheel. We need to correct that at some point. And he gets a Fanatics jersey. These are real official jerseys from our partner Fanatics. Certified SH. Don't forget to .the I. sh.it. Put that into your browser. It might feel weird, but much like the English pounds, it works. Put it in your browser. That's the URL. Send you right to Fanatics, our partner there. You'll get your choice. He's based on your size, so I'll put that in the Discord after this to keep this moving. Last, pressure luck here, BC. What you gonna do, buddy? Congrats to Beagles and congrats to BC, by the way, the winners at the moment. There's Beagles. And there's BC. They're with us. All right. Okay. We got BC winning a pair of the Jordan 8 Retro Bugs Bunny. I can't believe we still have people winning these. It feels like everyone's winning those. And the jersey for Beagles. So I'll get with you guys in the merch channel. So patreon.com/South Harmon right now is the way to get access to be a part of these drawings. If you go over there, $1 a month, get you access to our Discord, all the people that we got in there, all kinds of good stuff. Seth's in there. We've got the whole squad in there. But, that's how you do it for now. Next Wednesday, we'll be doing this actually planned out late. Okay, it's going to be there at 9:45 or 10 o'clock. Have a guest coming to make acquaintance and make it better for them. We're going to be doing it a little bit later next week. We'll give you the information how to get the app on the App Store and Android and all that for access to the merch moving forward. So congrats to you guys. If you do want to join the Patreon, listen, it's honestly pretty cheap relative to what you get. But I'm not here to try to sell you anything. I'm not here to tell you other than go get your productive guys. Go get your 26 draft picks at a freaking crazy discount. We could look back and maybe all of them bust, Seth. Maybe this class ends up being that bad. But I'll tell you this, even then, I could live with it because it's just not how it's supposed to work. All right. So I think it's the value at the moment to go at least see. If you're going to do anything right now, I think take on picks. But that's just me. Seth, I appreciate you hopping on. Make sure you go check out him out. The Fantasy Roundtable on YouTube. You plug yourself, buddy. Not shameless. You tell me everywhere they can and should be following you and get your work at, man.
Yeah, it's actually the Dynasty Roundtable, but I think that was you knew
Apologies,
that
I
because
do.
I know you knew that. So the Dynasty Roundtable on YouTube, we have a new episode with John Lobb up.
Let's go.
If you're looking for targets in the second, third, fourth round and beyond, it's the perfect episode for you.
That's
Which is
something a lot of people want right now. It's a great episode.
Yeah, we thought it would be. Everybody knows who the first round guys are at this stage, so we thought. I mean, it was kind of by accident too, because we just asked John like, which guys do you want to talk about, and it was all second, third, and fourth round guys. So anyway, but it's a great episode, and we agreed with a lot of what he said. You can follow me too on my own personal YouTube channel, which is more geared toward fantasy football. I know Mike wouldn't be interested in that, but that's gonna start to heat up as we
I
get
didn't even.
toward.
This is why I wanted you to
Yeah.
shamelessly plug. It's not shameless, by the way. You should do it. I didn't know this, so thank you.
Yeah, so
I did know the Dynasty Roundtable, by the way, though. That's true.
Yeah, so my own personal YouTube channel used to be where a lot of my Dynasty content was. I still do some Dynasty content over there, but most of that's on the Dynasty Roundtable now. And then it left me with the question, well, what do I do with my own personal YouTube channel? But so it's going to be a redraft channel, and that will be starting to heat up after the NFL draft in May. We'll start kicking out some content there. So yeah, you can. That's where you can find me. I'll hop on here whenever Adam asks me, and then I think that Twitter, if
X?
people are still on Twitter, the X,
Yeah.
you can find me on there, Seth_Dewald. I think those are all the places. TikTok, Instagram, you can find me there in the Dynasty Roundtable there. So yeah, I'm in all the spots, and we're trying to do this the legitimate way. You know how social media companies,
Oof.
build through,
Yeah.
through all of them, like posting everywhere all the time as much as we can, all that good stuff. I'm
It's like
sure
dopamine.
you're aware.
We want all of it. We want more. Yeah, I'm very aware. I will say one thing I'm aware of. It's like an HN and ETN. How their names are. I cannot get over that. This is literally like the third or fourth time you tell me it's Dewald, and I just come in every time guns a-blazing Dywald. I've got to get my Dewald. I've got to get that pronunciation correct.
You're not the only one, so don't worry about it. I think I've been working at Fantasy Pros. It'll be 2 years in August, and they still call me Seth Dywald. And honestly,
that makes me feel better relatively. But listen, I pride myself on being detailed, and that's piss poor. So Dewald.
No.
I'm going to be working on it. I can't promise perfection, but I'm working on it.
It's okay. It looks like how it looks, and I understand that. And it's been butchered my whole life. At least you didn't do what the high school baseball announcer did. What did he do? Dude, this is next level. He's now batting.
I knew it. I knew I could get some gossip out of you before it was all said and done. What do we got?
Oh yeah. Seth Dieworld. He called me Seth Dieworld, which I don't know where the R came from, and I don't know why somebody's last name would be Dieworld. You would think all of the surname Dieworlds would have been eradicated because they were so fixed on trying to destroy the world. That usually leads down a dark path if you've ever seen any sort of.
Speaking dark path, we saw that for a brief minute there. The whole
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because of that.
It's crazy because that's literally how it finishes. Never sleep again. So all that to say, I appreciate everybody here, Govnick, you guys all being here. Make sure you go check out Seth. Honestly, if you're a part of the South Harmon community, you're following us here. Let me just say this too. If you're at this point, please subscribe or at least comment. Tell us what we need to do to get a subscription from you. Because if you are subscribed or you tap into our channel at all, you've been seeing shorts. And the short game has been improving rapidly. One thing, let me give Seth his flowers here. There's a lot of people out there that want to, be a part of the fantasy football space, dynasty football space. They want to offer help. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's great. A lot of people want to get into the space. But one thing I'm always looking for is a guy that is curious. He's asking the right questions, and when I say that, the right questions meaning trying to improve. You can see he's trying to improve and get better, and he's wanting to know. Curiosity to say killed the cat. I say that's not the case. I think curiosity a lot of times is in a good way, trying to improve yourself, and he's someone that while doing that has been helping us. The shorts that he's been doing, at least once a week. I like what he's putting together, and I'm enjoying watching him kind of glow and blossom into his own creator elsewhere too. So really cool. Appreciate you doing that, man. I also love the fact that you just, he just hits me up. Hey, it's about to drop here in the next 30 minutes. Check it out. Boom, done. Guy that just gets it done. So Seth, appreciate you, man. Make sure you're checking out him. Make sure if you are not subscribed to us, please do so. Last thing, 103 or Olave to get us out of here.
103. What do you think?
Definitely. Agreed. 103.
Yep.
Clean, easy.
Yep.
That's all we got. Just to really, Seth, I hate to do this to you, but it's just what we got to do, to get us out of here. Make sure you get ready for October, but it's coming one last time.
Already.
We'll be ending the stream after this, Seth. It's okay if you want to, dip out
Halloween
early.
in April.
Exactly. See, it's not April Fools, right? I give you that. We love you guys.
April
We'll see you
Fools.
back here, same time, same place next week for AMA. That's one day before the draft, by the way. The draft is fucking here. Let's go. Love you guys. We're out of here.
Hell yeah.
Get over here!
Wanna know how I got these scars?
And action.
You can run, but you can't hide.